here we go.
You're listening to the Wicked Theory Podcast.
We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Broadcasting to you live from the secret basement in the kitchen of Harlem's Paradise. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. Hey! Look who it is. It's us. We're back.
Hey, wow.
Whoa! What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? This is
Were we
Wicked Theory.
missing or something?
Well, I think we disappeared. I think we fell off the radio for a week. We weren't like we didn't do a live one
It's been a while.
Yeah. Someone escaped for a few days.
for a few days. This is the
Yeah.
Wicked Theory Podcast. That's me. He's talking about. My name is Bill Sweeney. I am the host. I'm the person responsible for this thing we do. Across from me, I got my buddy Ed.
Hey, guys.
I got my brother Bob on guitar.
Hello, hello, hello.
Fuck, he's so fancy. I love it. All right, so with that, welcome back. We're back. We took last week off. A forced week off for you guys.
Yeah, reluctant for me.
You know,
I was still working.
I'm still gonna pay you exactly what I was paying you already.
I was busy cleaning the studio
Yeah.
while you were
Yeah.
gone.
Bob straightened up my area while I was gone, and we will leave it at that, Bob. We will not. We
yeah,
will
the
not get into
double-
how crazy or kooky
No,
or.
I would never get into
How many-
detail
how many
on-
dumpsters?
on record. You know, because you're my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
I'll
that.
leave you with that dignity, because if I did, it would be.
I hope that means that. I don't know if anybody else. I wonder if that means if nobody else is safe. Like, you know what I mean? Don't let Bob. Bob might pull out shit on you, but I might be lucky
That's
to be
why
underneath this umbrella.
I try to be very friendly with Bob.
Oh, well, friends, friends and family are safe.
So it's not just us here. We have Agent Palmer hanging out in the room. Agent Palmer's on the line. Are you there, sir?
I am.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh.
Mhm.
Got his theme right on
Bill.
cue. Yeah.
It's like I haven't seen you for a while.
I know. It's Palmer and me. So we drove.
You guys got so
many
close.
Hours, 20 hours in a car plus together.
You had an
I
80s
I think
road
it was
trip
over
movie?
24.
Well, let me ask you this,
80s
Bill.
road trip movie. Yes.
Bill doesn't drive, so Bill,
Yeah.
did Palmer have the 2-liter bottle of empty 2-liter bottle strapped to his leg with the catheter, so that
Nah,
he could
man.
make the 10-hour trip?
You know
Because this is a
what?
long drive.
We took a lot of breaks, and I think they were all really for me. This guy, he could have just probably went straight through with only a couple. I think because he knows I'm a
Did he
I'm a
let you smoke
robust
in the
cigarette
car?
smoker. That was that?
Did he let you smoke in the car?
No. And I
No,
threatened him.
wait, because he smokes those the clove cigarettes.
Yeah, he smokes the cloves. I
So
don't think he's hooked on those like I'm hooked on regular cigarettes.
Yeah,
It turns
the addiction is definitely less.
You can jump in here anytime you want. Agent
Hey,
Palmer. When you
I
hear
can- I
something
can
that's
give
not
it up.
true, when you hear something that's not true, let us know. All right.
yeah.
But so he was nice enough, especially on the ride.
So was he
up.
smoking
we
those
stopped a lot.
clove things while you were sitting there fiending for a cigarette?
No. He wouldn't. Wow, I would have killed him. I would have been like, yo, turn the car around. Like, I'm not gonna have you smoke your pseudo cigarette while I stress for a real one. No, but
Yeah, they kind of smell like burning cinnamon.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're less offensive, but because they're almost like a aromatic thing.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of thing.
kind of like a minty thing going on.
Yeah, it's some
almost.
kind of a weird thing. It's like, who's burning nutmeg? Like, what's going on?
Right.
But so anyway, we spent a lot of hours together. Basically, what it comes down to, like we should probably be sick of seeing each other right now at this point.
We should.
We should. No, but we're not. I'll tell you one thing though. We listened to a lot of They Might Be Giants on the way up, and every day since, that's all I can hear now is every track of every album they've ever had, basically. That's a thing. Let me just put that out as advice. I think no matter what the band is or what the group is, it would have happened. Like the key, I think, with that many hours is mix it up. Do yourself the favor and just mix it up.
Maybe some show tunes.
I wouldn't go that crazy.
No.
I wouldn't go that crazy. I mean, if you're riding
no
with
choice.
Ed, you don't have a choice.
Maybe a movie soundtrack.
Actually, no. I've changed up. The only thing on my phone right now is Richard Cheese, the complete works of Richard Cheese.
Oh, you've just blocked it all
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
And therefore,
That's almost as bad though, like in giant chunks.
I was
Just
telling.
because it's so unique. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's
you know what I mean?
It's super niche.
I'm not gonna
So-
lie. The Star Wars album is a little hard to get through at times,
okay.
especially when he does like that whole 10 minutes is Bob
Star
Hope.
Wars.
you know it better than I do. I'm going to take
But-
your word for it.
But the rest of it is the greatest thing ever to come out of American music.
Wow, that's saying
It
a lot.
is.
Quite
I
the
didn't
statement.
really understand the appeal of music as a genre, as a medium, until I discovered Richard Cheese.
If
Wow.
only Richard Cheese could hear that.
Wow.
He,
I think it would blow
I
his
tweeted
mind.
that to him on Memorial Day and thanked him for his service, and he retweeted it, and I was
I'm not surprised
very
to hear
pleased.
that. His service as an American and as a human.
Yes.
As a
So Ed, are you almost ready to give the man a blowjob?
Wow.
It
Wow.
sounds like it's getting.
It's-
I'm not saying.
It's
hey,
it's getting a
let's
little.
not get crazy, but crazy stuff could happen.
I mean, would it take a little
Well, it
tequila?
just- There are all of these popular rap songs that I've always heard about, but I could never understand the lyrics. And now that I do, and I understand the genius of
It
it.
took a white guy to sing a lounge version cover
Yes.
of Gin and Juice in the Hood for you to be able to finally get it.
Exactly.
I can relate now. I really relate to the struggle. All right, that's Ed. That's Ed showing how crispy white he is. Oh my God, he's a sheet of paper.
That's yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
let's get back on track here. We're doing an episode, I think, this week. So this week, like every other,
76.
what was that? Number 76. Let's do the official business section real quick. We'll get it out of the way.
In honor
Obviously,
of the Philadelphia 76ers and
in honor of
our friend in Pennsylvania.
a friend in Pennsylvania. Yeah. I
Ooh,
guess.
There you go. Tie it
sure.
all together.
Sure. So this is episode 76. We're going to do some meanwhile. We're going to do some news. We're going to do some email. The email, if you want to send one, you can send it to us. It's podcast@wickedtheory.com. Hey, no manuscripts, please. You can hear us every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Mixlr, right here where you are right now if you're listening live. And if you're not, hey, how's the future? Because that's who we're talking to right now. Remember that. You're always speaking to the future when you're recording, okay?
7 seconds.
The
in
future is listening. So yeah, and if you you check us out over there, you follow us, and if you sign up, you can get in the chat. If you actually follow us, you'll get notifications whenever we're online. Also, you can support us on Patreon. Hit up the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/wickedtheory. Remember, on Mixlr, it's Wicked-Theory. On Patreon, it's just straight.
Wicked Theory.
Here's a little bit of news for you. $69 where we're at on the Patreon.
Ooh,
Ladies
we
and
better start
gentlemen.
writing. We better start writing those really raw jokes.
Agent Palmer said that he had a plan for he was talking about earlier a little bit. I don't know if
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch some of the old Dean Martin roasts and start taking notes.
start taking notes. I think it's called lifting, but depends on how much.
Yeah,
how
sure.
many, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Screw it, right?
Hey, that's the easier option.
Yeah,
It is.
Rosie O'Donnell used to do it all the time.
Well, I mean, who didn't probably, right?
Mhm.
You just see, you
She even
twist it
said
all
so.
around.
She like, in the beginning, I didn't know what I was stealing.
Sure, right? You steal
I
from-
didn't know what I was doing.
Most people steal from the best.
No.
Yeah. So check us out over there. The boys are hinting at the fact that if we get to $75 as a total monthly support from listeners and friends and family and randoms, whoever wants to throw us $1, if it all adds up to 75, we'll officially put a roast
When?
together
Not
of
if. When?
moi. Yes, it's a matter of when, folks. It's true, Bob.
They're $6 away.
I didn't
so
think we
that's
would get
when.
to 69. To be honest with you, I'm like, yeah, this
Well,
will take
I think
a while
Bill and
to
Ted
get
would be
near.
proud of us for getting to that number.
Say that again. Oh yeah,
I think Bill and Ted are proud of us for getting to 69.
we should have celebrated somehow.
I don't get it.
The Wild
wouldn't.
Stallions.
You wouldn't, Ed. It's too white for you.
Really?
No, I mean,
Wow.
it's too
All
cool.
right, no, so it's
Bill and
a
Ted's
little
Excellent
old.
Adventure?
It's a little old.
Oh, you're fighting a
No, why?
you're
What does 69 have to do with it? I
Oh.
love Bill and Ted. I just
Oh,
don't.
That's their favorite
Why
number.
is 69 a special number?
That's their favorite number.
Is that what
This
you're
is
asking?
Netflix and chill all over again.
Right, this is Netflix and chill, part 2, where it's like you didn't. Oh,
Mhm.
69. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Oh.
It's nose to toes. I got you. Right.
Nose
They're like this. Yeah. Oh, I got you. Like the Pisces. Oh.
Okay.
Anyway.
I realized.
There's a dry erase board.
I realized just now, like 2 weeks ago, I did ask if we could Netflix and chill Luke Cage together, and I didn't realize until just now that I did it again.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Let's sweep that under the rug. Okay.
Maybe
so
that's why you couldn't do it that night. Okay.
Okay. That's why I passed. Yeah.
You weren't prepped for PodtoberFest.
No. I was just like, that sounds uncomfortable. Where do I go with this? All right. So, people, speaking of PodtoberFest, if you missed the live PodtoberFest shenanigans, the episodes will come out. They will be broken up and released as part of what the boys at 7 Days a Geek refer to as the 30 days of podcasting. They release 1 hour a day. That's what it was all about, in a sense. And
so wait a second. These guys, they do the 30 days of podcasting, but they're only going to do 6 new days?
Hey, listen, I'm not,
Hey, that's on
them. It's on them.
Yeah.
Whether it's new or how new.
Hey, man, you can't really fault these guys. They podcasted for 24 hours straight.
Once.
With a 13-hour break in the middle.
Oh, that was this year, right.
Yeah.
Well, that 13-hour break came in pretty handy, I'll tell you. So keep an eye on the 7 Days of Geek feed throughout the month of November, of course, if you're not already. And you can hear me and Ed eventually at some point. We pop up in that.
Day 2, hour 4.
And Bob hung around the
Actually,
chat room.
Ed, it sounded like you were there, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the connection was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was awesome, actually. I was surprised.
You will hear a lot of Bill. Like a lot of Bill.
Well, Bill's
like maybe more.
Well, I think Bill and you, Agent Palmer, both were pretty heavily involved in what was going on the whole time.
Right. Absolutely.
So you guys were pretty much mic'd up the whole time, or sharing mics, and
We were both in the
being
room for the whole
invited
thing.
to take part.
I think, although it's probably a good thing I wasn't there, because when Dave Meyer admitted to everyone the night before that he'd never seen Die Hard or Lethal Weapon, I may have accidentally killed him in an apoplectic fit.
You would figure no one would miss him. I mean, a guy like that, he's not doing anything.
I love you. I love you, Dave.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry, but I think the appropriate reaction would have been to go, stand up and go, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
You can't even blame it on the fact that he's Canadian.
We're going to go sit down. We're going to, on some channel somewhere.
No, because the other Canadians had watched
played
it.
right now.
Yeah.
We're watching them.
Yeah. But they're my 2 favorite Christmas movies.
For good reason.
They're everyone's 2 favorite Christmas movies from a certain generation. But the funny thing is that like he's not like Palmer said, like it's just Canada. It's not like some other third world country where they don't have televisions. You know what I mean? Like I think my cousin Ethan probably has seen these movies, and he grew up without a TV in Vermont. You know what I mean?
Right.
A kid's so bored he made his own board games.
Yeah, and hiked Europe when he was 17.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a thing to do. Shout out to Ethan if he's listening. So with that,
we should have him on the show. Probably be the wackiest.
Wow, I don't know where to. Wouldn't know what to do. I haven't seen that kid since I was 9. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
like, I wouldn't know.
He was younger when I saw him.
You know what's funny is I tried to reach out to Aeneas a little bit, his sister. She was very young the last time I saw her. If he was 9, she was probably 6. But she's like a fairly well known indie folk singer. Like, she does like a lot of productions and stuff like that. She's got some really good stuff. Aeneas Mitchell, if anybody is interested.
Okay, cool.
So that's our cousin. But anyway, enough family shout outs. Yeah, so check out that's where I was. That's where I left off.
Yes.
Really. Tangentially speaking. But brings us to PodtoberFest a little bit. Me and Palmer did take part in all that. There was a lot of shenanigans and shenanery.
We got to meet your Uncle Vito.
Uncle Vito called now, which was crazy because Bob, did you catch any of the?
No, I didn't catch any of the.
So that allows. Let me give a little setup on this one. This is what people have to look for. My Uncle Vito, Bobby. It's been a long time since we saw Uncle Vito, but because he moved out to California, where he's he's working at a.
He was always working on his tan.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. He wanted to be closer to the sun. You know how those guys are. Orange is never orange enough.
No.
So
No,
he.
except around the jewelry, you know what I'm
You
saying?
know, that's what it means. That's what
You
it is.
know,
You got to keep
the,
it moving.
the big 50-inch
It gets
chain
hot.
around his
It
neck.
gets hot in the sun.
With the giant emblem that hangs around his belly button.
The onyx background, the
Yeah.
diamond letter.
Forget about it.
So, and I can't even.
You know,
so
it
I
doesn't
just-
touch his
it
chest.
just- I can't even turn it off now. So
anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
So what was I saying? Like it just
Forget about
it's coming right through right
And
now.
you know, I was
All
just
right,
gonna say
horrible.
though, the chain, you know, it wouldn't even rest on his chest because of all the hair.
Well, that's there you go. It's like a.
It's like a
it's
carpet.
it's like a
shag
pillow. I
carpet.
got you. Oh my god. Oh, what a disgusting sight. But Uncle Vito, he called into the show. He reached out to me, and he had some movie scoops, but they didn't turn out
Yeah.
to be so great. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't turn out to be so
Well,
hot.
We got to give a shout out to Uncle Vito.
Yeah,
anyway.
a little shout out to
Yeah.
Uncle Vito.
Yeah, a
That's
little
something that
bit.
people can look forward to
Mhm.
in our episode that we put together, and a lot of great content. It was great to really hang out with all those people and meet them all face to face, and to see some old friends as well. An amazing time I had. Really, just it's mushy to go into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gets mushy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, oh, friends. Oh my God, who knew? Like at this age, you know, I'd have new friends. No, it's good stuff. So I'm kind of rambling a
Last
little
time
bit.
I talked to him, he was asking me if I knew anybody had any Viagra.
But here's the thing. Grant Markham was really obsessed with that damn Bean Boozled game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's from
Dave
Harry
got
Potter.
hammered.
So Palmer, talk about that for a second.
Okay, so somehow on Thursday night, when Bill and I arrived, Dave had already eaten like 5 beans, all bad.
So here's the thing:
All
if you
bad.
don't know, Bean Boozled is jelly beans, and it's
Right.
like a game though.
It's brought to you by Jelly Belly.
Yeah. So they make all these nasty tasting jelly beans, and they mix them in with these good tasting jelly beans. And what they do is like you can't tell by the color though.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now,
For every color in there has 2.
It has two. One's that's good, and one
One's
that's
good,
bad.
one's bad.
Yeah.
question:
Mhm.
Isn't this just a repackage,
Yes.
a rebranding of the Birdie Bots every flavor beans from Harry Potter?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I think it predates that. Not in the
No.
books, not in the books maybe, but it definitely predates it from the movies, I think. But they eventually, I think they made a branded version of it, right? Or something.
I think it's after the fact. I think it was they had all these freaking things left over, and they were like,
because
"Hey, I got to get rid of these."
I remember they had a special edition, and they were made by Jelly Belly.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking.
yeah.
Did they do one? Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I don't have the special edition here, but Grant gave me a
bag?
a travel pack,
Oh.
and in a sign
Yeah.
of in an effort for
You still got some soda left there, Ed?
for
I'm
team,
so thankful to be remote right now.
Oh, I bet you are. So, he gave this to me at the last second. He's like, "Here, do something with this on the show," and I'm like, "All right." But I think we'll figure out something for other people. But for us, I think it's a matter of whoever came here
we
this
want to be
week,
able to
and
have like a guest on.
I
and,
really
like,
wish Dom was here for this.
Yeah.
We might have to
Have
figure
s-
out something special for him to do. But for this week, it's just going to be a team building exercise. I think we're all just going to take one, and whatever we get, we get. So.
all right. You
I-
realize
I-
if I
I
have
have
to
a
throw
black-
up, I'll be throwing up on the
Yeah,
guitar.
trust me, buddy. Listen, like I wasn't. There was a point. You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay. There was a point where I got. Well, it's your choice. You got 2 and one. You got. Oh, you got 3.
Yeah, so
Play the odds.
wait, that one's got a dot on it.
That one's got a
It's
2.
not for the faint of heart.
That
And
one's
you,
got a 2.
You know,
Yo, well, Bob, you know what? You got 2 of those yellow ones. Oh, okay. I won't even tell you. Do you want to know?
All right, all
Do you
right.
want to know the
hang on.
potential? Palmer. This is.
here we go.
All
I
right.
think that's gonna be like a shit.
No,
for
wait.
you.
Should we describe the color before you eat
All
it?
right. So I got one that's solid black.
I have
Alright.
one that is pink with green and yellow speckles.
Mine is a kind of an orange, creamy orange color.
Okay. Here we go. Down the hunt. Bob only bit half of his. I got lucky. I actually got black licorice. So, Bob, what color was yours? It was like an orange.
Yeah.
So you either got like moldy cheese
I'm definitely safe.
or caramel corn
Yeah.
or maybe buttered popcorn.
No, caramel corn.
Caramel corn. What about you, Ed?
Pink with green and yellow.
Pink with green and yellow. So you got peach or barf.
I is barf. It's very faint. It's kind of like an aftertaste, but
Oh my God, the fact that I didn't think there was any way that you could have had the barf one. All right, because I got the spoiled milk the first day when I first got there, and that was it. I was done. I abandoned ship on the spoiled milk. I almost puked all over the table.
because it's not peach.
I got lucky.
It was not peach.
Yeah.
It tastes kind of cheesy and
Yeah.
farty.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say that triggered me, but that's just a cough. But yeah, I guess you got barf. You're a bigger man than I am. You're a better man than I am. Jeez.
Hey, he still swallowed it.
Yeah, I got you a little bit. I think you were playing a little tough. Or maybe now you're acting. I can't tell.
Yeah, well, maybe.
That's the one thing with Ed.
It hit the back of I think it
he's
hit the back
dramatic in
of
real
the
life.
throat, and that was it.
Yeah.
You like that? You know? Well, I can see it in your eyes now.
Yeah.
You got some worry.
Yeah.
When it gets to the back of the tongue, right?
That's what happened.
That's what got me with the milk one. I chewed it for like a good 4 or 5 chews, and then all of a sudden, like, it hit the back of my palate. That's what triggered it.
I kept biting it in the front of my tongue.
Yeah, trying to suss it out.
All right. All right, wait. This don't taste bad, so.
I survived. All right. So I thought there might be some more shenanigans out of that, but hey, that's what it is. It's a ticking time bomb. You never know if it's going to go off. So so that was fun for a hot second. So one of the other things we did about last week's episode, we were saying how we weren't here because I went to PodtoberFest, and I was like, you guys take the day off, go to the beach, you know, go fishing, whatever you guys do. That was, you know, me being nice. It's all right. You don't have to say thank you.
We won't.
Okay, that's cool. That's true. We put out an episode, we called it the Geek Test, and it's this big, long geek test, literally. It's a lot of questions. It's a lot of subsets.
A lot of questions.
And it runs a wide gamut. It's not all pop culture, that's for sure.
No, a lot of computer questions, a lot of tech questions. Looking into it more, this test has been around since the late 90s.
Well, here's the thing. It looks like the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, so I thought it might have been just retro for looking for the fun of retro.
I thought maybe
looking.
it was a Matrix fan or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's green text on a black background.
Yeah.
You know, it does everything except, you know, rain down the screen, basically.
Right, yeah.
But Agent Palmer found this, so this is I did ask for this, and he managed to track it down, and it basically hit the criteria I wanted. Something kind of big and widespread that we could kind of release into the masses in a way and have everybody take it, and it might be a fun thing. I don't know. So we actually did. We had a bunch of people take it, and we all took it here. So I took it on air with Palmer. I had a 39.
Yes.
Is that correct? And you had a 50.
55.
55.
Wow.
So that's where we landed on this. And where did you fall in this one, Ed?
49.2.
49.2. Any you must have really rocked it on the Star Trek questions.
Oh yeah. All those movies. Have you seen? Do you own?
Yes.
Have you seen multiple times?
Name 5 Star Trek characters.
Hold on.
Yes.
Ed,
name 5 Star
did you
Trek
get the
characters
bonus
from
points
each.
for being dumped at a Star Trek convention?
There's all kinds
Yeah,
of
right,
stupid
yeah.
ones
No,
like that,
never
so-
been dumped at a Star Trek convention.
You had to put the X in that
Okay.
one. But yeah, it got like it's a weird minutia. It was like, you know, a lot of questions where how many times have you done it? It wasn't just that you've seen a thing.
Right.
It's like how many times have you actually seen it, or how many
Yeah.
times you've actually played Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, oh, I only played it once.
Gone to the movies alone regularly.
Regularly, I should get bonus points. Do you get points? That should have had a subset. Do you know the ticket taker's name? Like, you know, do you know staff by name in there? You know, do they know how you like the popcorn?
You know what's funny? I went to the movies the other night, and
I know. I think I see a trajectory on this one.
I'm sitting there, and for some reason, instead of having the guy, you know, the usher, when you walk in, rip
Yeah.
your stub.
Yeah,
He was right next to the box office, and the box office was outside.
sure.
And he's just like schmoozing with the cashier right beforehand.
Okay.
And like she's like, "Do I know you?" or something like that. And the guy just, "What are you talking about? This guy owns the place."
Right to you, right? What are you kidding? This guy's an inspector. He works for the company. He's been keeping an eye on us for months. Nobody comes to the movies this much. He sees everything. Who would see everything? You know how much shit? Anyway,
I watch these movies sometimes so that you don't have to.
yeah, that's nice of you. You'll get a medal one day.
That should be like the name of your podcast.
We watch it so you don't have to. Well, I'm sure. I think
The Ed
sure
Show.
somebody-
Well, that's
I watch these movies.
That's
so
a
you don't have
segment.
to.
That's not a podcast. That's a
yeah,
segment.
it's not a full. It's too long for a title.
Nah,
it's a
'cause you
subtitle.
turn
At
it
the
into
very
an-
least, it's a subtitle.
You put some
Yes.
New York attitude into it and it becomes a rant for an hour about one movie every week, and people love it and come back.
There you go. Rant for an hour. Try not to pass out.
Mm-hmm. And
Oh.
then
Yeah,
and then
rant
Grant
for an
Markham.
hour, he'd just be getting warmed up.
Well,
Let's
it depends.
be honest.
Yeah.
No. I give my opening statement, and then Grant Markham mounts a defense.
There you go.
Well, Grant Markham would also just be getting warmed up because he would have segued 5 times into family-related stories.
Well, there's a lot of hey, it's tangents, my friend. You can go anywhere.
Yep.
All right. So,
Tangents.
well, I'm
All
glad that
about
we had a
tangents.
lot of people take it because that was nice of them. That was cool of them. I'm glad that they played along and they had some fun with it. So, if anybody's actually hearing this after the fact, the quiz still exists. If you go into our feed and find the post for episode 75, the link is right there in the description.
Yeah. Sorry,
And Palmer's got a list of some people who played. Now we won't give out their scores because I don't want to make it about like, hey, who look at the guy who got 2, and that's all poking fun. But
Oh, speaking of which,
somebody
Bob, what
definitely
did you
got the
get?
high.
Huh? Oh, thank you, Ed.
Oh,
Thank you, Ed.
oh.
Yeah.
call.
Someone forgot about me, and then when I was trying to point it out, he spoke right over me, and I just
Fair enough.
I just shut up. So,
Fair enough.
18.4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So where did that land you on the scale?
I landed in geek, but
Okay.
like right near
So you're there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm there. But it's a little misleading for me because when I was a kid, when I was 12, I used to go to Radio Shack
Sure.
and take
Yeah.
the programming out of the back of the book for the TRS-80,
Right.
and I used to
I remember.
program it.
Yeah. That's what.
So
that's,
I mean, stuff like that is not in there. you know
yeah,
what
I
mean?
thought. See, that's the thing. I didn't know. I knew there was.
I didn't really
pseudo-
live much of a geek lifestyle, and that's
Yeah.
where these questions really come in. You know, but I've dipped my toe in a lot of
Yeah.
geeky things. So
Well, that's what I figured because there is a certain amount of dipping in across the board, and the test is so scattered. I kind of thought you would have
Yeah.
scored a little higher. To be honest.
yeah,
with you.
I was surprised I didn't score a little better on the Star Trek stuff, but I really couldn't name 5 characters from each movie. Although
No,
I
that's-
guess
yeah, it
maybe
gets
I
crazy.
could because 4 of them would probably be the same from movie to movie. You know,
It's a lot. It's that
Yeah.
one crew. It's really it's about the crew. All right. But what were you gonna say, Palmer?
So, Courtney from Quadcast,
Yeah.
Dan Evans,
Yep.
Thomas Jackson Jr.,
Yeah, we know him.
Hey.
Dan from Podcast Digest,
Nice.
okay.
Sarah Netzley,
That's
Thomas
right.
Kirk, Chad,
Mm-hmm.
Paula
Cool.
from Tell Me Stories Podcast,
That's right.
Steph, Jay Mills, Matt from Reasons Are Several, and Janaya all took it. Now, there were 2 other people that took it.
Oh.
I'm going to go with the top 3
Oh. Okay.
of
A
high
reveal.
scores.
All right. I'll let you
So,
produce.
I ended up in 3rd place.
All right, you geek.
In
Thanks.
2nd place
What does that make you
was
actually on
James
that?
B. Ham.
James B. Ham.
James.
James
Okay.
Louisiana. James Louisiana. He's not from B. Ham
And-
no more.
Okay, I'll see.
In 1st place,
Yes.
Dougie.
Dougie.
The man, the myth, the
The
legend,
legend. Shumway.
Shumway IT.
Shumway IT, Shumway alumni, PodtoberFest photographer,
Wow,
Doug
yeah,
behind the scenes, Doug. He really rocked it. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it says if you, because here's the thing about this test. I was like, who's gonna get a 90? Like who? You know?
What
like-
was the highest score?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Doug's ended up being the highest one so far.
Doug
Right.
Doug was
Of,
a 64.
of people. He got a
Okay,
64.
64. Okay.
64. That was his number. Okay. And hey, congratulations.
Yeah,
Doug.
I don't know if Bill Gates would get a 90 on this test.
Yeah, it's so because it's so varied.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's you'd be hard pressed to see anybody. I think push past or close to 80. Like
Yeah,
just
well,
because it's
I'm
so
thinking-
minutia based.
Yeah, I would think that like a 64 is exceptional.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like really anything above like 45 on up.
You're a pretty serious freaking geek.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've consumed some.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we're talking about spending
Yeah.
time doing D&D and like starting your own Comic-Con and you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're starting your
So
own
there's a lot of
fanzine.
time involved things. There's no way anyone's gonna live through a life and do all those things.
Nah, no way, not me. I can't get done the stuff I'm supposed to get done. I don't, I couldn't consume all that. So I really want to thank everybody who got involved in that and played the game and checked it out. And that's really cool. That's really cool. I want to try and find more stuff like that we can all kind of off mic have little interactions with. We're going to try and keep an eye out for stuff like that in the future and bring it to the table once in a while. That one just kind of really worked out as a way to put an episode out, like, for that week, as opposed to trying to rush something else out together or record something on the fly. I was doing so much other stuff. It was like, I'm not going to have time, So it worked out well. And,
cool. So maybe we can find one that's related to something else we're going to be talking about.
Exactly. Something, other kind of aspect, some kind of thing. So with that, let's I think we're in the meanwhiles now.
Yes,
Basically,
we are.
we are in the meanwhile section, and you know it, you love it, you cannot live without it.
Meanwhile.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. So since we did kind of rattle off a couple of mine, Ed, what do you got in the meanwhile? Let's go with you for a second.
I have a couple of different things. First off, I went to a Fathom event on Monday that I invited you to.
Yes, you did.
And
you know why I didn't go? Because you told me what it was.
Yes. I went to see Batman Return of the Caped Crusader, DC's the animated revival of the Adam West Batman TV show.
Adam West.
Voiced by Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar.
All
she's
thankful
alive?
to be working. Well, maybe except, Mr. West.
I didn't think she was alive, but okay.
No, she's I
don't doubt you.
Yeah, they're the last three remaining members, and I actually enjoyed this a lot more than Killing Joke.
Well, I think because it's goofy and lighthearted, it's probably easier to enjoy and walk out having a more fulfilled feeling than some somber.
Yeah, and
they
didn't lop on a tangential story for the first 20 minutes that didn't make much sense and offended half the audience.
Why? Do you think there's a potential to offend people who love Batman 66 by making up something out of the blue? Is that what you're trying to equate?
Wait. Dude, are you telling me that DC fans can be offended?
That's a good question.
They certainly can.
Good point. Good point.
They certainly can.
No, but it was good old fashioned fun.
Yeah.
And it's very faithful to the original show, and you get the sense of, this is what that show could have looked like if it had a budget.
If it was a cartoon.
Yeah, if it was a cartoon.
Which it basically was the whole time.
Yeah.
But,
I thought it worked well. I was a little concerned that it's funny because you get the sense that it's made for kids, but I'm not sure if kids today would get a lot of the in-jokes from the series.
I'm sure it's nothing but. I'm sure it's nothing but in-jokes. It's so probably inside.
Yeah.
SpongeBob isn't just for kids either.
But they're on a conveyor belt. Like, I don't know if it's in the movie, but in one of the commercials for it, they're on a conveyor belt on a giant lunch tray. That just says to me that is certainly something that they were bandying about in a writer's room at one point. I'm sure one of them was like at the cafeteria being like, I got to get this script done, Jimmy. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm on a timeline. Oh, wait, this lunch tray. What if these two hot dogs were Batman and Robin on a conveyor belt going into an oven? And it's just But that's how I felt like all those episodes were written. Lots of fucking alcohol.
Well, is there a side of beans on that tray?
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's the other thing, too. Like, there was food on it. And I'm like, I know it's a cartoon. But now, it's just going to get, next level.
It's like giant beans, like people-sized beans in a tray.
Oh, yeah. They went for it.
I'm sure they did. Yeah. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, and there's a big point where they break out all of the villains.
I thought you were going to say into song.
None of them.
You were going to say into song.
Most of them don't talk, but to see Mr. Freeze and Bookworm and King Tut and Egghead.
Oh my gosh! Did your brain explode? Oh, Egghead.
It was a nice little nerdgasm.
No, King Tut. Isn't King Tut Harry Mudd same guy? No, different guys.
No,
back in the old days.
No, Harry Mudd was Colonel Gum.
I knew Harry Mudd had played somebody else.
Yeah, he was the bad guy in the episode with Green Hornet.
And he's also the one who crossed over into Star Trek.
That's true. Well, that's what I'm saying. No, that's
well, the actor's name is Roger C. Carmel. He played Harry Mudd on Star Trek.
Well, that's what I meant. That was my point, was the Harry Mudd on Star Trek. I thought it was the same actor as King Tut. Because the King Tut guy is a very familiar...
Yeah, he's one of those characters. He was one of those guys who used to go on Johnny Carson and read poetry.
Okay, I'm done with that now. See, this is what we're talking about here. I can't handle this. I can't handle the Batman 66. That's for you. There's no way I could sit through that and not want to put a hole through the projector or something. I couldn't handle it. It's so campy at a level that like I don't even care that it's a cartoon. Like that would still offend my sensibilities somehow. I just can't handle it. All right, so
Batman can be many different things to many people.
yes, I know, and that's why I try not to pick on them.
Yeah.
I pick on the thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't call anybody stupid for liking a thing that I think is stupid. They're not stupid. You can just I like stupid things too. You know what I mean? You just haven't found them yet. You know what I mean? Trust me. Like I know that I like. Me and Palmer was singing "They Might Be Giants" at the top of our lungs for 20 hours. Okay. Just saying. I know.
So the Malcolm in the Middle song and everything, right?
That's like the one song
That's
we
the
didn't get is the Malcolm in the Middle theme. That and then like the theme, whatever other themes they've done, which is quite a few actually.
I have two
hit me,
brief
buddy.
things. So,
Hit me.
Sci-Fi
We gotta burn
Channel
this off.
dropped a show this week called Channel Zero.
I want to watch this so bad. This is like besides Westworld, this is the other thing that I really wanted to watch. And, I'm probably gonna try and watch sometime tonight.
And it's a sci-fi horror anthology show.
Yeah.
It's sort of like sci-fi's take on like American Horror Story meets Twilight Zone.
Okay.
But the first story is about this supposedly popular TV shrink who goes back to his hometown to investigate his twin brother's murder that happened like 20 years earlier. And it is just odd.
Yeah.
That's just the only way to describe it. It is a very
That's
strange movie.
That's the
strange show, rather.
That's the thing I got out of it from what I was hearing in the trailer the trailers that I've seen is that it's like Twilight Zone, maybe more surreal than just being weird.
It's not like there aren't jump scares.
Yeah.
It's not like an in-your-face gore show.
Sure.
It is just eerie.
I like that though.
Yeah,
I like that.
So do we see a bookworm in a town all by himself, and then he breaks his glasses and he can't read anymore?
Oh, come on, Bob. That's like the worst one. Like that's my biggest fear.
That is a horrifying episode.
Well, I think that's the one that's like easy to describe and everyone knows.
Yeah.
But it's also like this is someone taking a Sci-Fi Channel budget and doing something really brilliant with it, and instead of spending it on sloppy computer effects,
right,
we're just going to have
like Steve Gutenberg.
Have someone sitting in a bedroom with the lights on.
Steve Gutenberg is a special effect.
No,
I like the theory though. I like the theory. I like the idea.
Steve
all this
Gutenberg
time,
is now like he's had a run now on Sci-Fi.
No, I know.
Of producing really bad movies on purpose.
No, I know.
You know.
Yeah.
So back to you. I just had to make a joke.
But it'll just be a guy is sitting in his bedroom with the lights off, and then he looks in one corner and there's just a skull-faced puppet. And you know it's a puppet, but you don't know what that puppet means. It's just fucking scary.
All right, I'm there.
I don't want to say anymore.
Lights off when I watch this.
Check it out.
Lights off when I watch this.
Lights on. You keep those lights on.
Lights on
for your own safety.
And the people around you. If they come in, you're like and just stab them.
Yeah, and one last movie I saw that's coming out this week is The Accountant.
Yes. Ben Affleck.
Yes.
I've been mildly interested in this one.
Yeah.
The commercials actually look good.
Yeah. Okay. I don't quite know the premise.
You know, it's Batman meets the Punisher, and then
he does the books.
Then you sprinkle in some math. I saw a dry erase board.
But there's also
throw in some calculus.
Yeah. Nice. There's also Dick Solomon from Third Rock from the Sun, and Hey Now, Hank Kingsley from the Larry Sanders Show.
Fair enough. What a robust action adventure cast.
And they're all being hunted by J. Jonah Jameson.
It sounds like something you would see on SCTV.
Is he filling in for somebody else? Is this like the one you were telling me earlier? Is this supposed to be Mitchum?
Oh no.
It sounds like a bunch of old dudes and they brought in Ben.
No. It's Ben Affleck who plays Batman. It's just the actors. Those are just
I know.
But Ben Affleck plays this accountant.
Right.
Who has a
he's autistic?
Yeah, he's autistic. He has a very specific type of autism. And he's someone who's incredibly focused,
Yes.
And is actually very empathetic, but has no idea how to engage people socially.
Right.
So he set up this life for himself, and he is a genius with numbers. And he handles accounts for the world's most dangerous people.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's
someone with autism is definitely going to get a job like this.
So, like, if you ever wondered, like, who does the Punisher's taxes,
yeah,
it's Rain Man.
it's this guy.
yeah.
It's
Rain
Ben.
Man with a rifle.
It's Ben.
Yeah, well, but like that's misleading, and I think this is kind of there's a reason they call it the autism spectrum, because there's a lot of different versions of it, and
absolutely.
this is
I think we're all on it, to be honest.
yeah, and the thing you kind of learn that's
I don't mean
interesting.
all here in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
not just us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
and the story's told. It's telling a story, and they keep flashing back to his background, and you understand exactly how he got this way.
Fair enough.
And I feel like this movie narratively was built for me. Like, I almost feel guilty talking about it because I feel like I am the target audience. I know I love this type of movie, but I don't know if other people will.
Okay, all right.
But it's really cool to see how they slowly tell you what you need to know exactly when you need to know it. It's not this giant exposition dump. They let you figure things out on your own.
Okay.
And it's all done.
Yeah, but I like that, though.
Yeah.
Where they don't hand me it all at once. And if they're handing it to me just as I'm figuring it out, like it's all kind of mentally timed in that way, then I like that. I appreciate that. Like that's the thing, like you kind of come away, like you may not really be able to put a finger on. Most people may not be able to put a finger on, but that's a very engaging story telling.
Yeah. And it's also the kind of thing, I feel like if a lot of directors now, a lot of movies now would fall into the trap of, this is someone who's in his head all the time. So we're going to show graphics of numbers that are going in his head. They're not there. And none of that is there.
Gotcha.
It's all done in dialogue and with sometimes with him writing on a whiteboard.
Right, but it's real. It's grounded.
Yeah, and even at times when you don't know what's going on, you know that he does, and you trust it.
Right, and that's the thing that a lot of movies will go for, and it doesn't always work. Where you're supposed to just kind of, all right, this is all, it's the whole idea of it being gibberish dialogue or something like that.
right.
Like
Most of the time in storytelling in TV and movies, they lead you by the hand a little too much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So sometimes you just have to. I mean, you want to be led.
Yeah.
You know, but up to a point.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you want to be able to trust the characters because you get to know the characters.
Exactly. Sure.
Yeah, and it gets kind of muddled towards the end.
Third act problems.
Yeah, third act problems. That's usual. Some of it gets a little confusing.
Right.
But overall, I love the first 2/3 so much.
All right. So what would you give it?
I'm gonna give this 4 American tacos.
4.
Wow.
Ooh, 4 solid American tacos.
Definitely go see.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
With the asterisk that this is an Ed O'Hare bias.
This may really only be a 3.5.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It might be getting an extra half for love. But that's cool though. No. I was glad to hear that because it looks good. It was one of those movies like, it's coming out this year, this time of year, and all that kind of thing. Like, what's the deal there? So, and it's gonna top the box office this weekend. It looks like.
Yeah.
Mostly probably because there's no hard competition against it. But it's good. That's good.
I can't name another movie coming out this weekend.
No, I can't.
I'm just saying. I'm
Ed
just
could.
throwing that out there.
Ed, what else is coming out this weekend?
We got Birth of a Nation was last week.
Right. But you saw it today.
If Ed can't even name another movie,
He's about
it
to.
really
He probably-
doesn't have any competition.
Yeah. But I think.
No,
he got a good question.
Kevin Hart's concert movie is coming out,
Oh, that's right.
and Max Steel.
That movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, so is this February?
It might as well be.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, this is the first February then.
So, all right. So those rounded out you real quick for me. While I was up in PodtoberFest, me and Grant managed to watch the pilot for Falling Water. This is a USA Network news show, and so this is all about dreams. And
Yeah, I seen the commercial for it.
and it's actually pretty good, man. It's actually really good. I'm really intrigued. It's another one, like I was saying about that other movie, and even kind of what's nice about Westworld is that they don't give you it all right away, but they're intriguing enough with what they give you that you do want to know more, you do want to get what's going on. They play with the dreamscape a little bit where it's you really just can't really tell for sure when it's dream and when it's not. You think you get a handle on what the telltales are of it, and it doesn't seem like those are to be trusted. So like it's a little bit of head fuckery going on with it, I think.
Right.
But the majority of it is that like where these people are discovering that people can kind of cross connect through dreams if they try, if they're trained, kind of thing. But it's not like don't imply from trained that it's a squad type show, and by no means. It's trying to be more like Sense8 or something that's a little bit more eclectic than just saying, oh, here's a bunch of people who can do cool shit, solving cases. It's about its own storyline kind of a thing.
Right.
But really good and really well done. It really looks like $100. I'm gonna give it 3.75.
American tacos.
American taco.
Okay.
Ooh, very nice.
All right. I'm not giving it any Canadian enchiladas. So,
Okay. Well, that would be
pizza roll.
maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
Pizza roll.
calzone.
I was thinking Canadian bacon with maple syrup.
Well, yeah. That's possible. Bob.
Yeah.
You saw Swiss Army Man finally.
Yeah. I figured I'd mention it only because we already know Ed has seen this movie.
Yes.
And this is.
It's one of those head fucks.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those head fuck
all right,
trips.
hang on. I'm gonna ask you this because I finally found someone else who's seen it.
Right.
Bob, can you explain the ending to me?
No. But I can't really explain anything else that happened in the movie either.
Well, there you go.
And I watched the whole thing.
That's saying something. That's saying
No.
something about a movie, folks.
I think movies are always made to elicit an emotion,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
This movie is made to make you rethink all your emotions,
Okay.
because in a moment you could be happy that the characters finally got something he needs to survive, or you could be grossed out at the way he's getting it.
Right. It's a lot of
Right. And that
pulling
happens
you
a
around.
lot in this movie,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
And you don't always know if it's in his head or if it's not.
Right.
You do get to see that at the end it is,
Right.
but then he's not really lost.
It seems
Yeah.
like it seems like an
Yeah.
end where even as definitive
Yeah.
as it.
I mean, I'm
wants
trying
you
to
to
do this
think it is.
spoiler free,
Gotcha. Okay.
you know.
It's got a funky
'Cause-
ending, is what I'm taking.
Yeah, and it's just the last words in the movie, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I do because it left a mark on me, is, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the way you feel the moment you see it say the end.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's what you want to say.
I have a feeling you said that a lot during this movie.
Well, it's also because like you feel for a lot of the movie that it's going in one direction. Like
Okay.
I think, oh, that's what this is really about.
yeah.
And then at the end, something happens, and you're like, but what?
What? Wait,
But hey,
wait. The island he was on the whole time was like
But what?
a 5-minute swim away.
wait. So what is this about?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Wait.
This whole rewriting of everything you knew.
Yeah.
Everything you
Yeah.
know is wrong type ending.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's just
I got
the
you.
only way to explain the movie
Mm-hmm.
is that it wants you to feel things that you haven't felt before.
Okay. Okay.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
With that? It's because you
It's
at
like a
the
Terrence Malick film.
you're feeling things simultaneously that are like total opposite ends of the spectrum
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Cool.
throughout the movie,
Because it seems like it just wants you to feel confounded and confused
and grossed out
and grossed
and
out
happy.
and happy. There was a lot of happiness. I'll say that in the trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ride at the back of a dolphin and not scream out in joy.
Yeah, but you gotta
Or your
you gotta
dead
see
friend.
what leads up
Or
to
your dead
like
friend.
you know
like now you go back to what you said. Yeah, but how does he end up there?
right
Like you don't want to know.
like the way he gets water.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I saw that part. We'll leave it alone because I
Alright.
think I've seen this on clip because I've seen clips. But
Right.
what would you rate it, Bob, on
Um,
a scale of American hot dogs?
well,
I mean tacos. I gave it away.
It's not
Shit.
stellar in any way. It's not bad in any way. It's just so different. I guess you just got to give it like a 3 American tacos
All
just
right.
to play it safe across the board.
It's a recommendation. Watch it.
Yeah, well, Grant Markham has to see this movie. If he has to see this movie, he has to see this movie.
Yeah.
Because the way he feels about the one I didn't like
Right.
Mm-hmm.
is the way he's going to feel about this movie.
Oh, okay. This might be common ground.
This is going to be, this is, well, I wouldn't necessarily say common
this is the
ground.
kind of thing I think he and I would get into an argument. He's like, you have to see this movie, and I would be like, no, you don't.
If anyone can explain the ending to this movie, it's Grant Markham.
Right.
He'll
all
have
I'm
a
saying.
thesis. He'll have a
Yeah, well, it needs a thesis.
Yeah, not to get a whole film school on you, but have any of you seen a German movie from the 1920s called The
I'll
Last?
stop you now. I'll stop you now.
No.
I'll stop you now. First of all, you said German
I'll
movie,
just say, I'll say yet.
and then you said 19.
It's from 1924.
Wasn't there a moratorium on Ed mentioning
I watched
any movie before
German
1950?
movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there was a moratorium on you mentioning any movie
Yeah,
before
well,
1950.
okay, so it's directed by this guy F.W. Murnau.
And he
He
just keeps
And he
going.
keeps going.
He was a German expressionist. So it's called The Last Laugh, and it's this.
That's the one where Joker gets his where they stole the Joker from,
Yeah,
isn't it? No, it is, right?
yeah.
That's Conway.
Oh no! That's The Man Who Laughs.
The Man Who Laughs.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
See,
Conrad
I
Veidman.
was onto a real fucking tidbit there, Paul.
Yeah.
You were doubting me. Go on.
No.
All right, make it snappy.
Yeah, it's basically like it's about this this hotel doorman.
I'm done already. I'm so done. German 1920s doorman. Yeah, that was a highfalutin career back in the
Yeah,
days.
yeah, no, but basically the whole movie is he loses his job and life gets shitty for him. But
It's a German movie, all right.
But at the end,
Yeah, go on.
it's like there's a title card that says this movie should end here and he should die, but we feel really bad, so we're going to do a scene where he actually gets a lot of money and buys the hotel he worked in.
They should do that with movies nowadays and just be like, literally,
Well,
the
don't give him
studio
ideas.
insisted that we make this happy ending. We wanted to kill him here. Here we go. And then,
Yeah.
the girl brings him back to life.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's alive. Da, 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 da. All right.
Yeah, and that's what the ending of Swiss Army Man reminded me of.
Okay, fair enough. It reminded you of a German impressionist film. Black and
Expressionist.
Can I get title?
German
can I get title cards for,
expressionism
like
is
Zack
very
Snyder
different.
films where they're like the studio wanted to cut this next 20 minutes
Yeah,
out
yeah,
to
yeah.
make it less than 2 hours, but he insisted we leave it in.
Yeah, I'm feeling like movies like
Yeah.
you'd never know, like The Abyss when they're doing that whole chest thumping thing. Breathe, damn it, you bitch, breathe. That whole thing, and they're like, no, she was supposed to die.
Yeah.
The whole movie ended differently. So all right, cool. Where are we now? We're in the thick of it.
I think we're gonna talk about Luke Cage.
Let's talk about Luke Cage a little bit.
Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. All right, so we're gonna try and
Alright.
hit this spoiler free, just
Alright.
because, much like I figured, we're already past time. But what did we think?
Well, I could take it right from the opening credits
Sure.
because I thought the opening credit sequence was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like visually, like where you just get like with Daredevil, it's just like red and black
Mm-hmm.
and this whole moody thing. Here you're getting a visual of the bridge on his
Yeah.
shoulders, so it's like
Yeah.
he's holding up the city, he's supporting
Mhm.
the air. You know what I mean? Right from the get go, this is about being positive in Harlem.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right from the first visual. I think overall the show was very good.
Mm-hmm.
It fell prey to a couple of things. I think it fell prey to because it comes from comic books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it cliches and things tend to happen.
Right.
So it's a little hard to avoid.
Mm.
But I think overall, I think they made the best superhero they could for Harlem.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh sure. Not many options.
Yeah. And they took him out of the 70s, but they still kind of kept the crybaby sound in the guitar to kind of hint at that
The
a little
mood,
bit.
The
mood.
trappings, Yeah.
And the trappings are all really well done. I think they're picking excellent areas of New York City to shoot from.
Right.
I think overall it's excellent, very good to excellent, but depending on the episode.
Right. I'm sorry, I distracted you because Palmer was doing that. His head was tilted and he was smiling. It looked like a.
Yeah.
It was like he was listening to a girlfriend talk or something.
How could you tell? His face is so furry. He looks like a tribble.
Well, that's what it is. It's like it's like a Muppet. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Where
yeah,
it's like-
that's a good. That's
or like a Canadian on South Park.
You're
where
making him
just the whole-
self-conscious.
the whole- No, he just slugged down
Who's
half
the
a
big?
bottle of whiskey.
Who's the
every
big
said that.
hairy Muppet?
Oh,
The big hairy one that's got 2 colors, and he's.
Oh, the big one of the
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
monster dudes. I don't know. I forget his name. He's got like some normal name like Gary or something. I'm sure.
He's on Sesame Street.
Yeah, he pops up over there too. But no, yeah. I
Cousinette.
Sweetums.
Cousinette.
Cousin.
There you go.
There you go.
How can we forget Cousinette?
Sweetums. That's it.
Mhm.
Sweetums. That's
Yeah.
it. Muppets. So back to Luke Cage. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where I feel like super strong out of the gate. It's got a couple of bumps here and there. Everything does, blah, blah, blah. But really liked it. Feel like the guy they got, Mike Coulter, is perfect.
Yes,
He's
absolutely.
perfect for it. He's got the right delivery. He's got a perfect kind of demeanor. The fact that he's like he's not from Harlem
Right. It
is
helps.
obvious because after a while it's like he just speaks he doesn't have any accent at all. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's just his diction and his speaking is
Yeah.
very crisp and clear.
Right. He doesn't,
and he should
he's
be
not
doing
trying
voiceover.
to do a TV accent.
And right,
he's,
exactly.
He's speaking English straight
Yeah.
up.
Well, that's what I mean.
Raised
like,
by a proper preacher in Georgia.
that's what I'm saying. He might
Yeah.
have got the back of the hand for speaking a little slack. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so it's all these kinds of little things that really work on it. It's a few misfires for me later on in it, but it doesn't really pull it away because I feel like they kind of course correct enough where it all still kind of comes together in a really good place.
Yeah, it's well set up for next season for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And for the next spin-off.
And I'll say that, you know, what's cool, now that we get to that real quick, that the cliffhanger-y kind of nature of the way they set things up, more than the other two, Daredevil and Jessica Jones did with their storylines. Like, Daredevil actually, you know, had some threads that were dangling, but they didn't feel like direct, well, what's going to happen to him now? It was kind of like, all right, chapter 1 is done. Still some other shit to clean up, though. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas with Luke, it's like, oh, okay, where's that going to start next season, you know?
Right.
But really, really liked it. Really, really strong. It's hard to say if it's as strong as the other two or stronger. I don't know where
it's
it
a
settles
different.
in.
It's got a
It's got
different
such a-
feel.
They've each had that, such a different vibe where they're hard to compare in a way.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they're all taking place in the same 8-block radius. You know, it's like they still have.
Well, I don't know about 8 block, but
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I'm
Luke
saying-
Luke Cage is Jessica Jones and Daredevil are both Hell's Kitchen, but Luke Cage is Harlem, which is much further up north.
You know what I'm saying, motherfucker?
Okay.
They're in the same
Yeah.
damn
Yeah, if you
town. The
went
town
eight-
ain't that big.
right. Manhattan's 11 by 2.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So 11 miles by 2 miles. So it's not that big an area, but
It's a train stop. You
couple,
know,
couple.
But that's it for me for right now. Ed, what do you?
Yeah,
your
no,
thoughts?
I actually thought the first episode was kind of rough. Rough to get through, but I thought it really got supercharged in the second episode and kind of went from there.
Yeah, I remember that about
Yeah.
the first episode too. It was a little missed.
Yeah.
Felt like it was
Yeah.
missed a beat.
Well, you really, I felt like you couldn't stop watching after that one. You had to continue
Oh yeah,
because
Yeah.
it was just okay. That's the first episode.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was a burner.
Yeah, and I think overall it was strong. I like the idea that they went back and forth with multiple villains instead of having like this is the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'd be a all season chase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean you sort of have that because one doesn't show up. One of those main three people doesn't show up until probably about a third or maybe even halfway through.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I thought it kept you on your toes. I think towards the end it got a little schmaltzy.
Yeah.
I
And
can
there
see
were
that.
some
I can see how you can.
and
see that.
there are kind of the jokes that we talk about convenience.
Yeah, we talked about
Mhm.
conveniences. I mean, I see that's the thing. Like, I don't want to. I feel like I could go on all day about
Yeah.
a couple of things that this hits wrong, but they're so late in
Mhm.
the game that I feel like my
Yeah.
critiques are literally big spoiler
Mhm.
things in a way.
Yeah, and it's weird. I feel like Alfre Woodard's character,
Mhm.
Black Mariah,
Mm-hmm.
isn't written well. I think some of the writing with her is okay, but she's an incredible actress.
She
So
sells
it, so
anything.
it so it
Yeah.
kind of evens out.
Yeah,
Right.
it kind of evens out.
Right,
Even when
well-
she does a little overacting
Mm-hmm.
because she's acting that she's acting,
Yeah.
it's, you know, like
Right.
she even does that pretty damn good. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah. She's actually. I'm seeing now why they got her and how they got her.
yeah.
Because when I'm watching the episodes, I can't help but think to myself that they kind of like brought her in. They're like, look, come here. This is the board we got. These are the shows we already got started. This is this is the whole plan.
Yeah.
And your character's gonna work in here, but it's gonna be slow.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a build. She's gonna build up to be a real psycho, and she's gonna be part of this whole big story part. And we gotta have 2 seasons from now with 3 shows going on or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, building her up.
By the way,
Yeah.
for those keeping track, Alfre Woodard breaks precedent here
Okay.
because she is the first person who has played 2 different characters in the modern MCU.
You're right.
Because she had a cameo
in Avengers.
in Captain America: Civil
War.
War,
Rather, yes.
where she takes Robert Downey Jr. to task in an elevator.
Right. About
And
the
that is
stuff
that
in,
is not the same character that she's playing here.
Not
So
at all. Not at
for all
all.
those actors worried about taking a Marvel TV job
Right.
because it's gonna box you out of a Marvel movie job, it may not be true.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I think it all just depends on as long as that first one is
Minor.
marginal enough.
Less than minor.
Less. Right. Less than minor. All right. So before we go to scores, let's hear what Palmer's got to say.
I mean, you guys have already said most of what I would say. What I will say
Convenient.
additionally
Right.
is that I think this is great news for Punisher fans.
Okay.
Luke Cage is great news for Punisher fans because we got a lot of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Not necessarily his origin, but we were already introduced to him. And what we saw in Jessica Jones was the same character we saw in Luke Cage. They weren't like, oh, we got to make him bigger or better because it's his own show. They just
It's
continued.
consistent.
So
yeah. Sure.
if nothing else, you can take to the bank that the Punisher you saw in Daredevil Season 2 is the Punisher you will see when he gets his own series.
That's a good point.
And that, to me, is great news.
Right. And that just got announced,
Otherwise,
by the way.
I love the show.
Yeah, they're filming now.
Yeah.
They're filming that now. They just cast a few basic principles, and they cast a guy from Microchip, who's Punisher's right-hand guy. Used to be in the van back in the 90s. Used to help Punisher on stuff. What else, Palmer? Is that it? That's
I mean, I love the villains. I think these were probably the strongest Netflix villains we've seen. I really liked Kingpin, but there were no other solid Daredevil villains in my book. So I think these 3 together, building up, and because it's not like, oh, we're going to take on the good guys, or and because it builds and it comes and it goes, like such or at least better written villains.
You know what it is too? I feel like it might just be that the way they're assembled or something, but I'm more forgiving for their corniness or comic booky or over the topness that feels like campy, it seems, than I was for other people. Like it lingered longer. Like I was more pulled in by the next line of dialogue with them, with Cottonmouth and Mariah than I was with like I was more forgiving of little bumps or whatever, things like that. So Bob, what do you give it? Scale of 5?
A scale of 5. I give it like a 4.5 tacos.
Yeah, nice. What about you, Ed?
I'll give it a 3.
A 3.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like a 3.75-ish kind of thing. It's close to a 4. That's close to a 4. What about you, Palmer?
I'm thinking 4 and some relish.
4 and some relish.
4.25.
Yeah, that feels like a 4.009 something.
A lot of relish.
A lot of relish. Let's relish it forever. All right.
Oh wow, we're getting demands in the chat now.
We're getting people yelling at us?
Well, Thomas K is thrown down. He said, "Okay, let's get to something worth watching."
Oh.
And he drops Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. Now, I've seen all of them. I don't know if everyone else at the table has.
No, I am woefully behind on my DC TV.
Well, I only watched The Flash, but I am up to date on Flash.
So I'll tell you right now, Legends of Tomorrow, not a lot of interest until they start doing the crossover. That's just me. I know that they're doing big things over there.
Oh, Legends of Tomorrow is the fanboy TV show.
Yeah, it is DC fan works.
It is probably
where you're gonna see all the cameos like you've ever wanted to see.
I enjoy the show. I enjoy all of the DC TV shows.
Of course.
Of the 4 on the CW, I would probably rank Legends of Tomorrow the lowest.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you'd be alone there though.
Yeah, but it does have for fanboys. It is it.
Oh,
just those moments.
Yeah.
That should I spoil the premiere if people haven't seen it? I mean, it dropped Thursday, but
I mean, I don't particularly care myself, so I would default out.
All right, so let me try to sell it to you. You remember
all right, fair enough.
Remember the bad guy from last?
Sell me some TV.
Okay, so the last season of Arrow, the bad guy was Damien Dark,
right?
Who was this guy we found out was immortal.
Gotcha.
Okay, and the premiere episode of Legends of Tomorrow took place mostly in World War II. All
right.
And Damien Dark was the bad guy, and you realize that he's working for somebody.
Okay.
And he's in this submarine, and you're down there, and you're thinking, all right, so he's the bad guy this season that they're gonna have. How is this gonna go out? And then all of a sudden, you know who shows up, and you know who's also the big baddie for this season of Legends of Tomorrow? Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne.
Get out.
And you see, okay, now we're having
the start. Yeah, starting to bleed over.
This is the crossover show.
Okay.
This is the big giant event
Nexus
show.
I got you.
And we're seeing how. Okay, I already know this is gonna, because this is an Arrow villain and a Flash villain that we've already got those in, and Oliver Queen plays heavy in the premiere.
Okay.
So it's all fully integrated, and for those continuity nerds, this is the show.
So they've decided that say fuck it, this show's gonna be the hub, this is gonna be the nexus for all this, and we're just gonna go full gusto.
Yeah,
I like the balls.
In a way it does make sense because they are the time travelers.
Yeah, I mean if any place was gonna have it be a central hub for it all, it was going to be here. The fact that they're actually going that full hog, and it's not just what I was alluding to, which was, we get Jonah Hex. We're getting Justice Society of America. I see.
Oh yeah, and that was the other thing. At the end, they got quartered by the JSA.
You know what I mean? Old school JSA, and all this stuff. So, I thought it was going to be talking to the fanboys like that, but I like how what you're talking about. You sold me on it by having Reverse Flash pop in. It starts to lay the seeds of. All this this crossover stuff is going to start to happen.
So all those years at the Debate Club paid off.
Yeah,
and you didn't even have to talk at 900 miles an hour to do it.
That wasn't the debate I did, but okay.
I know. You did leisurely debate.
I did speech.
Is it going to be a straight crossover, or am I going to need a whiteboard in Flash, where I'm going to have to double check or I'm gonna, if I miss the second act of Supergirl, I won't understand Flash. How crazy are they gonna go with this?
I think you'll get everything you need to know that you really need to know between the show and the previously stuff, because they are still exposition heavy type shows. I think, and when they get bogged down, they do have that moment usually where they kind of reevaluate and reassess
and
they make the Flash run backwards and start everything over.
There you go.
if they play this smart, the way
we already know how it ends then.
Yeah, the way a comic book crossover is meant to work is if I'm watching the Flash, I will read the Flash, and because Flash is in crossover, I'll read the crossover, and the idea is there'll be one or two tie-in issues that you may have to watch. The episode of Legends or Arrow or Supergirl that correspond,
but you don't
which is that crossover. And the hope is that after that crossover, you'll get into the other characters so much that you'll start watching their shows.
Right.
So the idea is to move forward, not to have to pull you backward.
Sure. Well, that's what I mean. They're gonna
always forward, never back.
That's right. Always. That's the thing with this. Obviously, is to try and get everybody to sample all the other stuff and cross-pollinate. And I feel like they're going to keep it as, controllable and easy to dip in as you possibly can. I will say that one show is kind of going to have to take the lead. I mean, you would think anyway that it's going to be following one particular bad guy more than others or something. Whether it's Reverse Flash because they already had him pop up or not, who knows? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a group threat and they all just have to super duper team up. You know what I mean? but for having a way for having the show, the through line sprinkled through the shows. You know, maybe it's about chasing one particular baddie around.
And the tricky part is Supergirl is still taking place on a parallel Earth.
Well,
so
for how
they've-
long?
yeah,
You know, that's the
yeah.
question. I think that's probably what this big crisis of TV Earths is going to be all about. You know, is how do we bring her into the fold? I bet you coming out of this whole thing, you know, at least by the end of the season, but probably halfway through. Once this 4 block is over, she'll probably be. It'll all be gelled.
My guess is this is going to be a 0 hour type story where the timeline gets muddled and ends up merging 2 Earths.
Yeah, which is right, the 0 hour stuff. Yeah, I mean that's perfect. That sets it up great. That perfectly aligns. Yeah. So, but when do we have any idea when that is supposed to go down? That crossover thing.
I think it's going to be in the fall, heading through November and December.
Okay, but it's on the first half.
Yeah.
Of the seasons.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. It's coming up. It's coming up fast.
Yeah, and just to quickly go over the other shows.
Oh, if you have to.
Yeah, Arrow is really tight. I think it's the first 2 episodes of this season are already miles ahead of last season. I thought last season fell off a lot.
I tried to watch that.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with him.
Flash is really good, and they're pushing those emotional heartstrings. And I think you're gonna start to get in some good action scenes. And Superman is here, and I have proof it still works. You could go full Blue Boy Scout, and people still like it. Like, it's there.
Look, everybody, it's the Superman you always wanted. Is that what you're saying? Basically?
Yes.
All right. The goody good.
Yeah, the one that we haven't seen since like Lois and Clark in the 90s.
Right.
Like,
right.
Like
This is the Superman we all know and love.
You could do that live action, and people will buy it.
Right. Yeah. You know, I see Chad in the chat room just said he still can't get into Arrow. Don't know why, and I agree with him. I still can't. I can't get past him for some reason. I feel like he's the thing, and then every now and then, you know, his staff. His staff.
Well, the
his
thing is,
crew bothers me.
if you remember the end of last season, his staff abandoned him. It's just him and Felicity now.
Yeah, but you hear the tone you have to use to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're gonna come back.
So now he's trying to recruit a new staff.
Yeah.
And also last episode,
on the line,
Ragman showed up.
Oh, okay.
And this is Ragman.
They're
like,
doing
yeah.
The Ragman we like.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So even if you just want to see him, just watch the second episode of this season.
Fair enough.
They should be giving Ragman a show.
We know. We've said this. All right. So let's jump back into. Well, we were wrapping up actually. So, what time is it? Jeez Louise.
Oh shit.
All right, let's get some bullet points. In the news, ladies and gentlemen, we do news once in a while. Sometimes we do it for a while. Today, we'll try and go a little bit quicker than we normally do. Newsy news. Yeah.
All right. So
I did that for you, Agent Palmer. I want you to feel special. All right, Ed, hit us with the headlines.
The Defenders.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver has been tapped to be the main villain of the Defenders TV show.
Did she bring in a xenomorph? Because she brought a xenomorph, it would make sense. But still, no, that's great. That's great. That's good.
No, she's just bringing that possessed baby from Ghostbusters 2.
Ooh,
So
that's
she must
worse.
have just seen Alfie's performance and said, "All right, I'll sign up."
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's basically.
What else am I doing these days anyway?
They probably did show her like a scene. Like, look what we did with her.
Yeah.
You know?
After Avatar, nothing came your way, lady.
The actual character she's playing has not yet been disclosed, but we do know that she's going to be the big baddie for the show.
Love it. What do you got?
What was I going to say? Okay, so at New York Comic Con, which happened last weekend, it was revealed that Jeff Loeb, Marvel Proper's director of TV,
Indeed, he is.
yes, is heavily involved with producing Legion,
Which is a Fox.
which is FX's X-Men TV show.
Which I'm excited for.
Yes.
Very excited for.
And
Ooh, interesting.
And
Looks good. The trailer
there
looks
has
really good.
and there has been some speculation that he mildly confirmed that TV may be a way for the MCU and the Fox Marvel movies to begin to cross-pollinate.
It's nothing
So-
set in stone.
Yes.
But by having basically kind of he's acknowledging the fact that because he's actually working on the show with Fox people,
Yeah.
everybody's getting a
I will read. I will
things are
read.
nice.
I will read a direct quote.
Direct quote me,
Okay.
sir. Or
Okay.
he.
This one is particularly complicated, as I've tried to explain. It isn't because the Marvel Universe isn't connected, because it is. In this particular case, I think this audience is sophisticated enough to know that the X-Men characters
I'm like,
live in the Fox world,
Oh.
and Marvel movie and shows live in a different world. Obviously, the fact that I'm sitting here is an indication that bridges that are being made.
nice.
So,
So it just it's a small sign.
This is a money grab. Like this is nothing but, and I say that because you look at Sony is going to. They look at the fact that Sony is going to go to the bank because Sony let Marvel use Spider-Man. And all you need to do is see that Sony's going to get money from letting them use their own property without actually giving back their own property. Fox is going to come like Sony. The Sony Marvel thing coming together is the door opening to Fox being like,
Sure.
wait, we can keep these properties and still make money.
Right. And let Marvel basically play with them, and so they're officially
There's
loved.
a way we can have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah. And who knows how separate the TV is from the movie division at Fox, where it's like maybe they don't even give a shit.
yeah.
Like whatever, it's TV. Because that was the thing at Warner Brothers too. And I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if it's a similar thinking at Fox, where it's like there's a separation, at the higher ups where they're like, yeah, but it's TV. Who gives a shit? I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it's a good sign.
Yeah, although this show Legion is also produced by Lauren Schuler Donner, who has been sort of the godmother of the X-Men franchise.
Right. And so, there's no genuine bad blood between the creatives. This stuff is all the higher ups getting bent out of shape about every single thing on both sides. So it's good to see maybe the wall is starting to come down, or like you said, at
And
least
the
some bridges.
walls come tumbling down.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so we were talking about Legends of Tomorrow before, and evidently it's not looking good right now for that show.
Oh.
The season 1 premiere had lower ratings than any episode of season. I'm sorry, the season 2 premiere had lower ratings than any episode in season 1.
Well, okay.
Well,
That's dangerous, isn't it?
I
yes.
would say that's
Like-
a bad sign. It sounds bad when you
Because-
say it like that.
Yeah, the
Well,
series
they're
was
doing all
down.
these
Yeah.
crossovers, and you're doing a crossover with multiple shows,
Yeah.
and everything's tied in together. You can't really finish the crossover properly if you're like, oh, screw it, we're killing this show.
Well, maybe one of their, what they've realized,
Yeah.
it might be, late to do it only in the sense that, it
Yeah.
started here. But what I'm thinking is that, part of their thinking with bringing everything so tied together now, even more so in this season, is because they didn't do enough of it in season 1.
Yeah,
They
no.
probably feel like they didn't do enough of it in season 1.
But you have to be careful, don't you? Because you don't want a scenario where you're going to require, you don't want to meld 4 audiences into one. You don't want to put it on people to be like, oh, you have to watch 4 shows a week in order to keep going.
But that's the thing. Is like
No, that's
tangentially,
why you have a crossover.
and then that's it.
Yeah, is basically so to get this, Arrow viewers are only going to need to watch one episode of Legends of Tomorrow,
Right.
and the hope is that one episode is good enough that they'll stick around.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you do it. But
I'm not buying what you're selling, traveling salesman, because I'm pretty sure that Arrow's going to be in that one episode, and I'm really liking Arrow. But in that other episode, that's not a crossover. I'm not getting Arrow. I'm just getting your shitty characters.
well, that's
Just
usually
saying.
what happens. Is that the crossovers doesn't you might stick around, come back and
Yeah.
sample more, but like the thing that tends to happen sometimes with crossovers is that the crossover, if it's done right, because you want that story to be good, is a good Spider-Man story. Then I come back next month to read more Spider-Man, and that one's just him struggling to get the rent, and Dr. Octopus, finds him in an alley, and then
but
it's not that next episode has to be really, really good too.
Well, I think that's where they're planning for the rest of the season with the show comes in, because they're going to have all these cameos and other things, surprise guests, etc. So that whole mentality that starts with this whole tie-in can be carried over on that show.
Yeah.
And they can give it that feel that maybe they didn't give it last season, and which is probably the only real good thing, the only good purpose for this show, because it's all secondary characters, right?
It seems that way.
I'm seeing in the chat that they're saying we're kind of low.
They were kind of low.
Yeah, I kind of actually feel the same.
Yeah, they're asking if all of Bill's stuff is plugged in.
Oh, like weird.
Did it get low, or was it always low?
That's a good question too.
Hello. Whatever you're doing now sounds a little better.
Well, I'm trying not to jack it all up because, there's a lot of hiss and bleed coming from his headphones.
They're saying it's always been low.
Okay. All right. Well, that's unusual. I don't know.
So maybe it wasn't us before the show.
It probably was.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're crazy, Ed.
Well, they rebuilt the system a little different today.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, guys. I'm going to try and figure it out as we go.
Yeah, they're asking if it's the main out volume or just to turn up the power in general.
Yeah, right now it sounds
Well,
better on my
I
end.
could do this, but I really didn't want to do this.
Well,
So now if we stop talking, you hear all that in the back?
Yeah.
All that hiss and all that.
right.
All that. So I was trying to knock that all down by bringing the top down. So maybe I had it knocked down too low. So I'll bring
Sorry,
it down.
guys.
I'll bring it down to here, and we'll see. You guys let us know how that went. That little experiment.
We'll fix it in post.
It won't help them now.
No, James is telling you to crank it to 3.
Yeah, well, that costs money, James. That costs me big money, buddy. I mean, I can afford 2.5, but not 3.
So the hiss is better than can't hear. Yep, hiss.
Oh, I think he's saying he'd rather hear the hiss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the hissing isn't coming through on their end. All right, well, I'll put it up to here. It might just be air on my end where, the mics are sensitive, and then the recording, it gets taken out.
James doesn't hear hissing.
All right.
All right. Well, then it sounds. Then
Hey,
back
I was
to
just,
normal.
Fine.
was just
You
looking
want us to do this, then fine.
I got to turn down my headphones now. A little too loud for me. All right, that might have been it, even that. I might have had my headphones so loud that I was bringing the top down on everything else.
Yeah.
That might have been it. All right. So anyway, better. Very good.
Anyway, for those keeping track, compared to the season 1 premiere,
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow was down 50% in the 18 to 49
Well,
demographic
poops on
Okay.
them.
and 43% in overall viewership.
All right. Now that we got
Well.
that wrapped up.
Well, they got the plan in place to get that back. So.
You would think these guys could have saw this coming.
All right. Now, no.
Because they're time travelers, Ed. Do you get it? It was a futuristic joke. Thanks. I'll pay you $1 for that laugh later. Thank you.
They need Marty McFly's almanac.
Sorry.
Can't all be
I'm setting up the headlines. I want to put them up and knock them down.
Very good. Set it up.
All right. So,
Yeah.
that Batman the Cape Crusader movie.
Yeah. You all might want to adjust. Now that I pulled up the main volume, you might want to adjust your headphones a little bit.
So yeah, the Batman the Cape Crusader movie that I talked about earlier.
Oh, that gem.
They've already greenlit a sequel,
Yeah.
and William Shatner is going to voice Two-Face.
This I like to hear.
Okay, good.
This could be fun.
Now, Harlan Ellison wrote a script for Two-Face that was eventually rejected because they thought they couldn't make the character look soft enough for kids' TV.
Right. Where it wouldn't be too creepy.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, back when TV was black and white, they had the creepy snout-nosed people on that episode of Twilight Zone.
Yes.
That doesn't give
The
you
pig-nosed
nightmares.
people.
You know what I mean? Or maybe that's the thing that set the
Well, they
bar.
were trying to give you nightmares on Twilight Zone.
That's
in all
true.
fairness,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But I've read the I think Len Wein adapted a comic version of that, and it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
So that's looking forward, and finally we get William Shatner and Adam West in the same recording booth.
Scary.
Yeah, I don't think
Who's
so.
going to overact more?
I'd be willing to bet they're not recording together. Just saying.
Oh, they'll do press together.
Oh, the Ben Gay. You can smell it from here. All right. Well, that's a thing for other people to look forward to.
Okay, so there are 3 movies
Yes.
that have received official titles this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. Sure.
Yes. So
Okay. What do we got?
all right. So the Ben Affleck directed and starring Batman movie.
Right.
Guess you guys ready?
I'm
You ready?
I'm going to hit me.
Can I get a drum roll or a lead up?
Bob's got some.
The Batman.
Oh. Well, all right. What else you got then?
All right, so Shane Black's
Yeah.
Predator movie,
Yeah.
the reboot that's coming out, it's
Yeah.
called The Predator.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm sensing a pattern.
Swear to
Here we
God, these
go.
legitimate stories.
Okay.
All right,
What's the next
all
one?
right,
What's
and
the
then the finally long-awaited sequel to Blade Runner is called Blade Runner 2049.
Eh?
What?
I guess it's better than the Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The
Yeah.
Blade Runner.
Well,
Yeah.
wait.
Well, you
The-
gotta set it
the
in the
Blade Runner
future.
2049.
There you go. What was that, Paul? Palmer say what?
I said you got to set it in the future.
Yeah, well,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah, so we know one of those is going to be a flop.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty evident now which one.
The one Benicio del Toro is walking away from? With the Predator?
Wait, is that the Batman?
Now that's an idea. Like, if you told me he left the Predator to go work on the Batman because they're making him Two-Face or something, I'd be like, oh, sign me up. Sign me up. But
Yeah, they probably keep makeup costs down.
at least by half.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, okay.
So yeah, that's happening.
Non-news. They were kind of non-news items right there. I think the idea is with the Blade Runner thing, like it's only 2049. I feel like should it be a little further out?
I think the original was
that
set.
seems within reach right now.
Yeah. Because
Sure. I'm trying to think when the original was set. I think the original was set in like 2016 or something like that.
whatever it was 30 years
Mm-hmm.
prior.
I could
Just roll it
realistically
back,
still
you
be
know?
alive in 2049.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Plausibly. I don't know about realistically.
Yeah.
Plausibly.
Yeah.
That was it. No, all right.
Well, no.
He'll need his walker.
He'll have Heelys. He'll get around. Playing the bass the whole time. So what else we got?
All right, so Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Remember when David Ayer said that this is the finished
yeah,
version?
yeah.
Is his
Wait,
version
wait.
of the film?
The Suicide Squad?
No, just Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Suicide Squad.
I thought that was going to be the
That's
sequel.
why it failed. That's-
There was no the. They didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Well, evidently we are getting an extended cut,
Oh,
On-
after
on-
all that.
Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah.
So what's this, extended mediocrity?
It's the Joker cut, basically, is what's
Yeah.
probably going to come down to, right? It's
Pretty much.
Because that's the word, is that there was a lot of Joker footage that was left on the
Mhm.
cutting room floor.
Mm-hmm.
And not just from him overacting and eating it up. And
Or maybe the first half is going to look like a movie instead of a music video.
that would be a good idea. You know, actually
Mhm.
find a way to tell us the story.
I mean, the ending is going to still suck.
Yeah, that's
but-
true. It is going to all fall apart.
Yeah.
Featuring a lady who doesn't know how to hold a cell phone. Like, that's the weirdest thing. That was the most awkward thing, was trying to figure out why she was holding it in this weird, like, paralyzed hand, clutch of death, in, like, the most strategic way so everybody could get a nice, even, clean shot of it. It was the most weird thing I ever seen. Anyway, but that's good. I'm sure some people will be happy about that.
Yes.
I'd be interested to see some more Jared Leto as the Joker so I can see enough to make a decision. Like, on how
On his
bad
Joker?
Yeah, like, I feel like I got enough that I'm not leaning in favor of it, but I feel like there might have been something interesting there somewhere.
Mm.
I just don't know
Yeah.
if I was shown it.
Right,
You know what I mean? I feel
'Cause
like there was
y-
potential.
you
I
just-
still feel like there's potential.
Right, the only thing you really get is that he's like gangster Joker.
Hmm.
And if that's all there is, that's not very good.
Yeah, exactly. What else we got?
All right, so Quentin Tarantino
I know that guy.
has announced that his next movie, his next project.
Is this an official announcement?
Well, he has not said what medium this project is going to take place in.
Yeah, but okay. Well,
But he's
carry
working on something. He's not sure if it's going to be a book, a podcast,
coloring book. He's not sure.
TV show,
I'll
movie.
take any of it.
But the next thing he's researching now
Mhm.
is going to be 70s centric.
Okay.
Okay, but that's not that much of a surprise.
In other
Fair
words,
enough.
water, wet.
What is that? What?
Is he going to make a movie with
Yeah.
waterbeds?
Oh, no, I got you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a super obvious thing. Yeah, water is wet. I got you.
Yeah, no, but evidently he's going to
You
be
threw me for a second
yeah,
there with that.
he's going to be focusing on the new Hollywood style of movies from the early 1970s.
So people have sussed this out because he's been renting stuff. Like, I don't understand. Like, where is?
yeah,
everybody
no,
gonna
he was
get
at
it?
he was at a film festival, and someone was asking him about his next project, and he was just
Okay,
talking
so
about
this
it.
is a literal thing that he said. It's not just cobbled
Yeah,
together.
Yeah, I could read the quotes if you
we
want.
saw him by a lampshade, and
Mhm.
it was from a 1970s yard sale.
Right, so,
So-
he's making a 70s movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Some extrapolation from.
Yeah,
nothing.
well, they actually someone asked him what he's doing. He said, "Am I going to write a book? Maybe. Is it going to be a 6-part podcast? Maybe a feature documentary? Maybe. I'm figuring it out. Just everything's a work in progress.
I'm smoking a lot of weed and drinking a lot of coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I write stuff up and I make it up as I go along, and everybody loves it, and I love that shit. You know why I love that shit? Because I write that shit, and that shit's amazing.
Right. Because all I got to do is smoke weed and drink coffee.
That's it. I'm gonna smoke and drink, and I'm gonna have a good time. And everybody's gonna love it.
I mean, I've always said Quentin Tarantino is the only person who ever wanted to make the 1940s look like the 1970s.
Yes. The guy's got a gift, I tell you.
Yeah.
He's certifiably gifted.
All of his stuff is 70s centric, whether he wants it to be
or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And that's why it's great.
And that's
Yeah.
who knew that if you just put that kind of a sheen on everything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what he's working on, and the Coen brothers.
Yes.
Anyone watch those movies?
I've heard of them. Yes,
Yes.
I've seen them a bunch. Yeah.
So they've announced that they are currently writing a script about the Silk Road and the dark
Weird.
web.
I mean, hey, like, you know, anything they do is good, and they're so varied in everything they do.
Mm-hmm.
That when I saw this in the notes, I was like, really? Oh, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a weird. I don't know how you make a movie about it anyway. I'm sure they found a story. Someone's written a book or something like that. But how do the Coen brothers then take this thing and put their slice of weird on top of it?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get Greg Kinnear.
right. Very, very good. Greg Kinnear and like 3 other actors who haven't really worked too much lately, and give them something really gritty and heavy to do. So for those who don't know, Silk Road on the dark web, which is the internet that lives underneath
the black market.
Yeah, it lives underneath the internet. Silk Road is one of the biggest black market purchasing places, basically, where you could just get anything.
Yeah, and they pretty much shut it down.
Yeah, it's pretty much Dunskies now. They've locked up the dude who was running it.
Yeah.
Some people try to keep it going in other places, I think, is how that goes.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand how you navigate that anyway, because I've tried the Tor browser.
Yeah,
it's garbage.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, you have to be like willing to be like one of those Usenet type guys who's just like, I can surf with the internet looking like it's just started.
Right.
Like,
I can read like the Matrix.
Yeah, basically.
So I'm okay with.
But and let me tell you something. I saw a thing on Reddit which was all about, share some creepy tales from the dark web, on like going out on there and surfing around trying to figure it out, and people will just do creepy shit like you'll stumble into something and someone will just pop up like in there, like I know it just sounds like random and weird, but that's how a lot of it is supposedly. It's like a lot of back doors and shit, like or you just find things and people will just kind of like hack your fucking shit instantly and be like, hey, I can see you, I know you're over here, blah blah blah.
Christ.
And then like, you know, you live at this address, they're all like, just, you know, it's don't go in there.
Yeah.
They like to scare people out, basically, is what they kind of like to do.
There's a really good documentary about this called Deep Web, which follows the history of Silk Road.
Sure.
Directed by Alex Winter.
Nice.
Bill from Bill and Ted.
I
But
know
he's
him.
actually a great documentarian.
He really is.
He did another one on Napster. That
Yes,
was
that's the one
also
I saw.
good. But
Wild Stallions.
Forever. So then into the reboot report. This is interesting. We're gonna get our War of the Worlds
done by MTV.
Yeah. What? So and in case you're thinking, oh, I bet it's just gonna be just like that Teen Wolf show. Well, yeah, because it's written
MTV.
and created by the guy who did the Teen Wolf show.
Yep.
One of the guys was involved there, at least I think. Maybe.
Andrew Cochran and
yeah.
Jeff Davis.
So hey, look, you know, some people dig that Teen Wolf show. Some people have tried to talk me into it. I still have season 1 wrapped in plastic because someone gave it to me and they didn't want it. I'll watch the pilot. I'll see what it is. You know, I think MTV is probably coming along soon where they are gonna just start trying to make content that is not just like, if you're gonna do War of the Worlds, like, why make it just for the CW like teen stream?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And they've been dipping into genre. You
That's
have
what I mean.
Teen
They're
Wolf.
trying. Shannara Chronicles.
Shannara Chronicles is really good.
Yeah, but
ahead.
with the Shannara Chronicles, they went completely off script. Which,
Well, that's not my,
like,
but that's
the first
not the point,
season,
though.
the first season was the book. The second season will be something that happens between the second book and the third book, or every season will be that. And they may have changed genres, but they're still targeting the same teeny bopper demographic.
Yeah,
and I think that until they expand that and they try to take something, it just doesn't seem like they're taking it seriously.
They used to have
they used to look at their demographic
years ago much broader than they do now. It's narrowed. You know what I mean? They're going for a very, very slim age group
Well,
now.
that's basically their own fault.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Everything they've done, they've done to narrow their has resulted in narrowing their market.
Yep.
From switching from videos to teeny pop stuff. And
You think it? Do you think it's time for a name change? I mean, at this point, is there really? I mean, there isn't any more music on MTV than there is at the score behind Supergirl on CW.
MTV still works. It still carries a lineage. They can just morph the brand.
Right. Instead of the M being for music, it just be for moronic.
There you go. Well, that's where it's at now. So let's, but
hey, that's not a far stretch. We can fill that role.
Just make it for media or something like that, or just make it like it's just the M. It's like VH1. Like, what does that even stand for anyway? What did it ever really mean? So just rebrand a little bit, and not just rebrand like VH1 did with a logo and a couple of new shows. Like really change the brand itself, like what they make, what they put out, what their motivation is, because the music video is basically dead. It basically lives on the internet now.
Can you name a network, maybe aside from USA, that has really rebranded themselves?
I wouldn't even say USA has. Outside of like when they launched.
Well, no, I think there are several examples of cable networks that have rebranded themselves. For example, now TNT knows drama, and TBS is always funny.
And I think those are good examples.
Sci-fi used to be spelled SCI-FI.
Fuck those guys.
SYFY.
Fuck them up their ass.
Easy, champ. We're loud on the mics now.
Sorry, did they like ban podcasting or something?
What are they Canadian or something? What's your problem?
Really?
What are they, Democrats?
No, they're not owning it.
They're not owning it.
Yeah,
you're right.
That spelling tries to make it seem more generic.
Well, it tries to make it more cool.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to be cool,
as in like,
they
we don't
that's
have
something that they can trademark.
Yeah.
That's why they did it.
That's what it really.
When they first did this, they came out and said we can't trademark sci-fi.
Yeah, and it's
a generic term.
How do we make it unique and
I can remember in the early '90s when it was just called the Science Fiction Channel.
Wow. We don't have time for that, bro. That's a lot of syllables. But I wouldn't even say sci-fi really rebranded in the sense that I'm saying, because they're still doing science fiction.
Right. Yeah. You're talking about a whole
the
change.
Yeah, like the
become more like USA.
The mission statement.
Actually, I would say the most successful rebranding I would see is actually brought up by
A&E.
James in the chat is AMC.
AMC,
which was originally American Movie Classics. It was what Turner Classic Movies is now.
Right.
It was the forerunner to that.
Yeah, that's a really major success.
Yeah, and I think
Turner. That's fair.
Yeah, and Turner Classic I think pulled ahead because they didn't have commercials.
Fair enough.
And AMC did.
I wouldn't know. I never watched any of those. I never watched any of those.
Man, I used to always say in the summer, a perfect Saturday afternoon is watching Columbo on NY55. And a perfect Sunday afternoon is whatever's on Turner Classic
All
Movies.
right, what else is in this fucking news section? Because I am dying.
All right,
you're killing me.
One last news story.
Yeah, what do we got?
This is in the other section.
Yeah, I saw this.
Anyone here still watch Jeopardy?
Occasionally.
I will if my TV is actually on at that time sometimes, and I remember.
Yeah.
So there was
only if I tune in for whatever's on next 5 minutes early.
So Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, you coming in a little early?
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't owe you anything, and I'm certainly not giving you a soda. If you want some Diet Coke, there's more in the fridge. They're Bobby's.
So anyway, Susan Cole of Bowie, Maryland. You know that point after the first commercial break when Alex walks over and chats with people about with the contestants about what they do.
Yeah.
She tased Alex.
No. She admitted that she was she talked about her experiences in nerdcore.
Right. And nerdcore, for those who don't know, is a form of hip hop where the rappers and the whole scene is basically it's just all about nerd and geek stuff.
Yeah. So she explained, well, it's people who identify as nerdy, rapping about the things they love, video games, science fiction, having a hard time meeting romantic partners. It's really catchy and fun. And Alex Trebek, without missing a beat, went, losers, in other words.
Nice.
Losers. And I guess the rage, the web rage, just spewed from there.
I'm on
those people that listen to nerdcore probably know more about the inner workings of the internet than those that don't. Those are the people you want to keep on your good side.
And I think a lot of them probably were like, losers might be a bit much, but I see where he's going. I know some people. I know some people in the scene.
Well,
I go to the shows,
actually,
dude. He's right.
I'm on comicbook.com right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to read that. We're going to have a live reading here.
Okay.
Rap artist Mega Ran.
Oh yeah, he had something to say.
Posted on
Can
Twitter.
you do it like Donald Sutherland's voice?
No, please. I don't want to hear your Donald Sutherland.
Wait, which version?
You know what?
The old,
are
the
you
old
having
narrator.
You want Kelly's
voice.
Heroes?
I'm just going to throw this out there. Bill and I have had enough of voices.
for 1 week?
Just gonna say
If
that.
you're gonna do it as the Joker, start with "Dear friends."
No, I'm gonna try to wrap this.
Okay.
Let's see how this go.
Yeah.
How this goes. Alex Trebek, lost a lot of respect. I gotta check you with off the rip for coming out of your neck. Talking
it,
sideways
that's
on
it.
Geeks Menu a trip. Guess you haven't heard. Nerds make up half of your viewership. Nerdcore's home to some serious lyrics. I'll break this down in a format you're familiar with. This host gets roasted on SNL yearly. Hosts a show for nerds and doesn't know it clearly. No one likes a know-it-all, condescending blowhard. It's easy to be snarky when you're holding all the note cards. But Susan got the last laugh, 20 grand in cash. And to go to all my shows, you don't even have to ask. Suck it, Trebek.
There you go. James, I'm sorry. I apologize to James.
But by the way, Susan won that show. She won 20.
Well, good for her. She had her redemption.
20
She doesn't need when Tosh
No.
when Tosh calls
I don't
her,
know
she
if
doesn't
that's
need
a
her
Well, if
redemption.
she's
As
such a
the winner,
hardcore-
she's coming back for more abuse.
That's true. She'll be back tomorrow.
Well, if she's such a hardcore nerd, maybe she's hacked her way into the system and knew all the answers.
Okay. And I mean, yeah, that's true. If she's hardcore, if she's the hardest of the hardcore,
If she's elite, yeah,
if she's at the top of her game,
no telling what you can do.
if she's at the top of her game.
So that's it for the news.
So is he gonna get the beat down out in the alley now? Is Alex gonna worry about getting the beat down from the hardcore
You
nerd
know,
course?
I would be very careful if I was him.
Yeah, Chad. It's not about the rhyme. It's about the flow. Ed doesn't have flow, so it's. I'm sure if you listen to the video, it's got a little bit more. Trust me, it doesn't have all the rhyme signatures that you need. But some rappers, if they got the right flow and the right beat and the tempo,
See, like
they can work around it. I mean, if you've listened to
See, like,
Eminem, he'll write
hey.
the same word
I-
10 times in a row, and you're like, that still sounds good.
and
for
I
some
will be fair. That was a cold
sells it.
read.
Yep.
That was
fair enough.
that was
That's
a
almost
cold read.
What was better? You want me
I
to-
didn't realize that was in the article until I read it just now.
Oh, so if we
So
had
it was
given
like,
you some
oh,
time,
there's lyrics here.
So you're right. You almost said poetry.
You know,
you almost said poetry.
I almost said poetry. I was half thinking, do I do this as Maya Angelou? But no, I don't. If the rhythm's off, it would have been
We
horrible.
went down that road before, Ed.
You know
we
why
went down that road.
You know why the cage nerd raps? Is that what's going on here? All right, enough. All right. Guess
I
what?
know why the cage bird sings. Yeah. Phenomenal. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you
What did Bill
done?
say about voices?
Yeah. What do we? We put a moratorium on voices this week. All right. So with that, we are finally done with the news. We're going straight into some emails. People, ladies and gentlemen, we get mail from people, from friends. Sometimes from Nigerian princes. I'm trying not to read those anymore.
No.
But they still come
Had
once in
your
a while.
heart broken too many times?
Give me that again, Palmer.
Had your heart broken too many times?
Yeah, it's not cool. Like, 'cause they never send the money back, first of all, and they never give me the wedding ring. They always promise me that when we get married, that it's all gonna work out. And I'm like, well, you know, it's all about love, and I really feel like you don't love me. Long distance relationships can be tough. Okay, so enough vamping. We got some emails. Oh my gosh, we got emails. So I finally figured out who that mysterious Ed was the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Who was it?
it was James.
Oh.
It was James B. Ham. James Louisiana. Luciana. I think that's how he spells it now on his thing. Luciana.
Louisiana.
Luciana. That must be how they say it down there.
New Orleans.
It's all new for him. Remember. So anyway, his email this week.
Crawfish.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah. I had to say that. Got to get it out of my
You want to say
system.
like garlic and some other things? Onion spice?
What did we say about voices?
Well, it's true. That's an accent. But you're right, though. It's bordering. It's bordering.
It's a voice. He's not doing it.
Fair enough. All right. So So, because you don't got nothing for us, right, Ed? You don't do emails no more, right? Is that it? Because I didn't ask you for nothing and you didn't offer it up. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, you're a jerk off. All
Write
right.
one now. No.
I'm sorry, Ed's.
Hang on, give you 90 seconds.
Don't do
No,
that.
stop. You're gonna pull up some drudgery
We got
from
15 minutes
the
left.
black
We
and
gotta-
white era of radio. Like, who knew that existed? But you'll find it. So James starts out. This one's from last week. He's got two in here. This one's last week because we were away. He's not mad about us, but he's mad about his phone. He goes, all right, I'm ticked off. Damn, the always on data from the flippin' assholes of Verizon. The effing pieces of rancid bovine fecal matter whoring out the internet like it's gas in Mad Max's world. I'm not sure what that means. I think it's his data usage.
You know, he's got to get out of Verizon.
Yeah, so like, he goes on about it. I love him, but hey, what's all this about? When they try to end the cap, when will they end the crap out of the data whoring? It's $60 for the first 5 megabytes, and then $20 for each additional 3 megabytes. But they have this always on for you after your high speed runs out at such fracking slow speed. I can't listen live, and they're only effing company with a tower close enough to even get a decent signal. So anyway, it's October now, the month of my birthday, and this PodtoberFest thing. When is it again, and what is it? And how do you plan on bringing, what's his name, a housewarming gift? He just bought the house and moved in, right? So something functional would be nice. Since you're carpooling with someone, perhaps he could help you pick something nice. Oh, I wish I'd read this before. That would have been a good point. We could have stopped and got him like a T-shirt from Ohio. We could have got we should have bought like 4 T-shirts when we stopped in Ohio.
I bet you he would have worn
For
it
the whole
all
family.
weekend.
He probably would
Yeah,
have.
or we could have got him some sunglasses.
Yeah, anything really. A thimble.
Yeah.
Something cheap.
Well, you could have stopped at Youngstown and bought a house. I'm sure they're like $10-20 now.
That's true. We did pass the outskirts of Detroit. We probably could have made a home purchase.
Really? Could have
You
bought a
could have
block
bought him
of
a
Detroit.
whole building, like massive. Grant, I know you've always wanted an office, so here's
buying land
here's
is-
one with 12 floors. Enjoy.
Pick one.
It's
Welcome
in
to
a bad
Shedway.
location, but you'll be inside, so don't worry about
I
it.
think they're just going to turn Detroit into a giant park.
Why not?
That's what they did here on Staten Island with the garbage dump.
I mean, that's what you do with them, right?
Right? Yeah.
So there you go. There you go. There's your Detroit problem solved.
There you
Sorry,
go.
Detroit, if you're listening. All right.
Sorry, Eminem.
So he goes on. He says, what's the one thing that has y'all more pissed off than anything else right now? Like these days.
Well,
Like,
I'd
what's
have to
something that
think
got you
about
this week?
what I was pissed off about a week ago because it's a week old.
Okay.
I don't remember that far back.
Fine. There you go. Ed, anything lately?
Well, it's the same thing. I'm always pissed off. It like we just saw. It works on TV. It works on TV. Why couldn't they just do that in a movie? Which was Superman.
So was this every time you see something good that's superhero related, you go, why couldn't they just do that?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
I couldn't.
That's a
I
good
couldn't
point,
live
though.
like that. I couldn't live like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a fair point, but Bob's right, too. It's like, you got to turn that off, man.
Yeah.
Like, if TV is hitting it out of the park consistently with superhero stuff, yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
DC
you might
boy.
just reach so low that when they actually do make a good good DC movie, that you just won't enjoy it. You won't see it for what it is.
I don't know.
So,
Kind of like Stan Marsh in South Park when all he saw was crap.
I'm like Randy Quaid in the Major League movies.
Yeah. Well, I was seeing those
I don't have a sound for
Sorry.
references I don't
Major
get.
League 2.
But that's what that is today. So he ends this one with, and by the way, who's got good enough Wi-Fi that I can go somewhere and sit and watch Luke Cage on Netflix with them? Sad boy. If you want to walk all the way up here or drive, even.
Just go to Starbucks. They have free Wi-Fi.
There you go. I mean, just chill all day. Drink,
Really?
get your latte and just drink it real slow.
Really?
Get-
See if they
get
give you
this-
free refills.
Get the skinny stirrer straw and just drink it out of that.
Can I have another free refill?
So that's sent from his slow as hell, always on data Verizon 4G LTE piece of shit phone. That's how he signs it off. But guess what? He's got another one.
He's got another.
And this one got corrupted, like it came through looking like the Matrix, and then actually it breaks near the bottom, and I can kind of read it and make it out. So this might take a minute, or this might have a little bit of jumpiness to it, but that's not me or him. That's the fact that
Still, in this case, you haven't pre-read the email.
No, not at all. So this is how it starts, basically. I don't know if any of this is lost, but I'm just going to go with it. So he's got a special request. Keep using Mr. Ed. Not just because it annoys Ed, but I like it. I have fond childhood memories of watching the show. If Bob knows he could play along, a horse is a horse, of course. And no one could talk to a horse, of course, that is, unless, of course, the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. So go right to the source and ask your horse. He'll give you the answer that you'll endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed. So what, Palmer?
Ed.
Yes.
Is it because it's a horse?
Yes.
Or did you really not like the show?
No, I
If
think
he was a beaver and it was the same damn thing,
I
it was
like the
about a
show
beaver,
fine.
then it would be different.
I like Mr. Ed. I just don't like being called Mr. Ed.
I like Mr.
That's
Ed.
all.
He never did anything to me,
No,
personally.
Bill, I think you're wrong on that because then if it was a beaver, it would relate to a vagina.
That's true.
So
It wouldn't really be as good of a jingle either. It would kind of ruin the whole flow of the song.
Well, it's just weird that you have these friends.
Oh,
when you're
when
when you're
they
young.
find out the thing that annoys you, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's just how you are referenced and respond.
Yeah,
called.
or
Not
they,
at all.
They don't
Not
do
at
it.
all.
They don't do it all the time. But just when
Welcome to New York.
they think you're in a
That
foul
doesn't
mood
stop when you're a kid, by
and
the
they
way.
want to piss you off, they wait till
Yeah.
you're walking by them and then they go Wilbur.
And you're probably sitting there like, I thought it would have generationed out by now at 7 years old. You're like, why Nick at Night? Why Nick at Night?
Oh no, these are 40-year-old men.
I forgot what kind of a childhood you had.
I made friends with. I was the kind of kid who made friends with adults.
Ding. Me too. Adults got my jokes.
Yeah,
That's all I know. Kids didn't get the nuances of humor and
Yeah.
sarcasm. But I grew up in a house
Yeah.
full of it. So
Yeah.
adults. So since I learned that at an early age, the
no,
adults.
I think, Bill, looking back, we were told it was sarcasm. Mom was just a bitch.
Mom was just. She was
Well,
just
this is-
grumpy all the time.
being raised on Star Trek and Nick at Night.
That'll do it.
You actually, it's a really good way to get in with the scout leaders. But
And we all want to butter up to the scout leader.
I never.
Hey, Derek, nice socks. All right. Anyway,
They were always very intrigued with me. Never had any problems.
I'm leaving this alone. Bob's doing a quick check. No, it's fine. You gotta do what you gotta do. Technical adjustments. All right. So let me get back into his email here, where we're past the song part. He says, ironically, like modern day TV, when a TV show becomes popular, people start copying it like crazy. Along with Mr. Ed, there was Francis the Talking Mule,
Yes.
who was in the Army. That's right. Our Army used mules back in the day. There was also the show I found on TV last week about a guy's talking car who was
My Mother the Car,
Yeah.
who was his reincarnated mother.
starring Jerry Van Dyke, Dick Van Dyke's little brother.
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, that's right. Well, let's see here. So he's actually waiting until November to listen to PodtoberFest when it's released in the segments. I think that's how it's being done. Actually, that's exactly right.
Yes.
Do we
1 hour
know yet
segments.
when and how? They did record it, didn't they? So Bob and Ed. With
Yeah.
Bill several states away this past weekend, did you miss him?
Not at all.
And how did you deal with the horrible absence in your life for those few days?
I cleaned up his mess.
There you go. How about you, Ed?
Well, I felt like I was right next to you via Mixler and Skype. I was following along the whole time.
You don't resent having taken a whole week off from work and they left you here?
Well, that was not my decision. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'm fine with that decision. You know, it's all right. I'm not bitter, cocksuckers.
But I mean, it's a it's
you
not
know,
like a thing.
Grant actually was very sweet about it.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
say Grant gave me, and he was very apologetic, and he was,
Yeah.
and I
When he was telling me on the phone, I'm
Yeah.
like, you have to stop.
Yeah.
You have to call Ed
and
because you were giving because my
And-
heart was going out to you.
yes,
I'm like, I shouldn't be. I want to cry right now. Stop
yeah.
it.
And I never ever expected to be invited. I asked politely.
Oh, sorry, folks.
I
Again. Sorry. I'll leave that alone.
That's Bill getting electrocuted, by the way.
Ah, this show's amazing.
I offered my services, and I was just happy to be in the writers' room and asked
Very nice.
to help.
Cool.
You know,
cool.
and I hope I was able to.
So, Ed, I heard that Palmer told you he only has a car where it's 2 seats. He pulled up here in a Humvee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a son of a bitch. Another liar. All right. So the next question is to me. It says, Bill, in a long car ride, who farted first? who had the worst smelling fart.
I think Palmer should answer these questions.
Yeah, Palmer.
I have no idea. I was sick to a point where I couldn't smell anything anyway.
Well, I know that on a couple of stops we got lucky because I let a couple of them rip, like while I was outside smoking a cigarette, and I caught that. I was like, "Whoa, thank God that wasn't in the car." Yeah, we might have had to pull over again just to air it out. There was really something like
You might have been walking from about Ohio.
Yeah. He might have been like, "I don't know if you can get back in. I can't trust you." Something like that, you know. You're melting the dashboard. Cut
the
it out.
methane levels in the car are too high. You have to.
Yeah, the sensor starts going off. All the red lights in the dash start going. All right, so he says, he goes, I listened to your show. You're not getting a normal person question about a long car ride from me, all right?
Okay.
All right. Well, this is getting creepy. I think I've overstayed my welcome in this fast food restaurant parking lot. I feel like the guy off of the guild questioning for free Wi-Fi. All right, very good. I guess he was right enough in the parking lot and I was afraid people might mistake him for a stalker. But I would never. He's probably got more class than that.
Yeah.
He'll ask you to go hang out with him before he stabs you. All right, so next one's from Stephanie Muniz, or known as Sammy.
Sammy.
Sammy. So she says, "Hey, you guys. At this time last week, some of us were still in the midst of PodtoberFest. I miss it and everyone. It was such a fun time. It's sad that it's over. This type of feeling is usually equated with conventions. I call it the post-con blues. This past week, I have definitely been suffering from post-PodtoberFest blues. So my question is, have any of you ever experienced post-con or post-vacation blues? And if so, what did you do to get yourself out of that funk? Anyway, I miss you, Bill. Hopefully we'll see one another again sooner than next PodtoberFest. It would be nice to meet the rest of the guys, too, Ed, Dom, and Brother Bob. Take care, fellas. Your pal, Steph, a.k.a. Sammy. So, post-vodcation. Oh, my God. I can't even talk. Post-vacation blues. I've gotten that a little bit. Usually hits me pretty hard when I get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it usually hits me the moment I get back to work, and the only way to get through it is just to put your head down and keep working.
Yeah, sometimes that shit even creeps in the night before when it's like, oh, I got to go to bed early because of work. You get yourself back in the schedule, and all of a sudden it's like, fucking life sucks. Like, just being an ant is the worst. Having that feeling like, just, slug. I guess, I wonder if that says that maybe you didn't take off enough time,
Yeah, I don't think you can have enough time.
There's never
Sometimes.
enough time.
See?
Correct answers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the correct answers, ladies and gentlemen.
Never enough time.
Points for each of you. Okay, so thanks for the letter stuff. We all
what is this, at midnight?
yeah, we're gonna start doing points.
right.
Can't cash them in though. So next one up is Agent Palmer.
Hey, that's me.
It is you. Wong, 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 wong. So Agent Palmer,
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this letter.
Okay.
It's from you. Is that right?
Why doesn't he read it?
That's fine.
I mean, because he may not point out the foibles. I'm thinking right now.
Oh.
'Cause I was
No,
thinking
actually-
about that too.
Oh, so
Actually,
you're gonna be looking
I
at
was just going to
grammatical
paraphrase
errors?
it.
Yeah, you would. This thing went from like 10 sentences down to 2. He would have just skipped right to the end.
Oh, actually, that would be great for
Actually, as a
we're-
matter of
we're-
fact,
we're pushing 2 hours
we're
here.
pushing 2 hours.
Yeah.
So,
There's not going to be an after show at this point.
very good point. So he says, having spent the better part of a total of more than 24 hours in a car with Bill, I can tell you from experience that good company is paramount when trapped in a moving box for such a long period of time.
That bad, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like it. With that in mind, if any of you were to spend such a period of time driving somewhere, which superhero would you choose to take along? And no choosing Wonder Woman. It doesn't give you the option to use the invisible jet. So don't think you're getting away. You could just drive in an invisible car with her, if anything.
Mhm.
But superhero road trips, folks.
Superman, so he can put it on his back and just fly me there.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, that's a cheat?
That's the same as the
That's the-
invisible
He
jet.
said no
Yeah.
saying Superman.
in
so-
the car
He said no
with
saying
them.
Wonder Woman. He didn't say
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
about Superman.
Yeah, Palmer, why didn't you knock out every single superhero that falls under a different,
no, I think
but slightly
I
kind
think
of similar thing?
what he's trying to say is powers aside, if you had to just travel with that person.
So basically, this is the who would you want to have dinner with?
Yeah,
yeah,
but in this
question.
case, trapped in a car for 20 hours.
Actually,
which one doesn't eat beans?
yeah.
Which one doesn't like stink?
Yeah, actually, Superman. He doesn't eat.
He'd probably be a very nice guy about it. I don't know how
Yeah.
much fun you might have with him. He'd probably be playing a lot of like corny games.
Oh,
Like he
he'd
used to
be definitely like a definite piece of white toast.
yeah, he'd be boring as hell. I think
But-
after a while.
You know, he doesn't eat, so he's not going to fart in the car.
No, you don't have to worry about that. It's a good point. And if you do have to change the tire, he can lift up the car and stuff like that. You know, he's pretty good for that shit. But he's probably gonna play a lot of corny games.
Yeah, I
like
think
Grandma
Batman
used
would be
to.
too intimidating.
Yeah,
He wouldn't want to be in my car. We'd have to be in his car.
fair enough.
You know.
Well, yeah. I
Right.
don't think. Yeah, he'd be like, I'm driving, and that's it. You know.
What's
and-
this button do?
right. Nothing. It's just
Hey,
the radio.
Batman, what does this button do?
I'm imagining Batman in a regular car because he hasn't been in one in so long. He's either in the back of the limo or driving a Batmobile.
So it'd
he
be,
doesn't know what
"What's
the
this
buttons
button
What's this button do?
It slides the seat back and forth. Oh, big deal.
Oh, that's pretty good. I should have Alfred
You
put that
press
in.
that button in my car, it shoots you 100 feet in the air.
Is that what a radio looks like these days? All right, so
Yeah, I would say anyone from like the late '80s, Bwahaha Justice League.
what the fuck does that
Like
even
that, like
mean? The blah.
that's what they call it. That with Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis.
Oh,
that
yes,
really,
yes, yes.
you know,
I know what you're talking
where
about.
like
I didn't know that's what you
Justice
called
League was a sitcom.
it. Yes, I didn't know that's
you
what
know,
you called it.
We had like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold,
and,
and Guy Gardner.
Yes.
Although Guy Gardner would want to get in a fight with everyone at the diner.
Yeah,
he stopped
Guy
at.
Gardner would be cool to have somebody
Mhm.
else take the trip with.
Yeah.
and you get to hear
Was
the
it-
story.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Booster Gold a wrestler, a professional wrestler in WWE?
No, that's Gold Dust.
That's Gold Dust.
No,
That's-
I'm not thinking Goldust. I know wrestling.
Well,
I
you
know a little
think-
bit about
Mhm.
wrestling.
No, and you mixing it up with
Dusty
somebody else.
Rhodes.
Wow.
I don't know.
But somebody Gold, I'm sure. Dana Gold is
Mhm.
from MMA stuff.
Mhm.
That's the guy who runs MMA, maybe.
No,
No,
I was thinking of Dana Carvey for a second.
Booster Gold was Booster Gold was the superhero into
0
branding.
degrees of separation with Bob. But so, yeah, I think you
Yeah.
know what? I think you got to go with fun. I think you take
Mhm.
a Deadpool, you take some kind of clown, some kind of goofball. Like, yeah, maybe you get annoyed with them after a while.
Deadpool would go off.
You think you'd be too much of a loose cannon, too
Yeah,
much of a
you say the wrong thing, he snaps, he shoots you.
that. And you know what? He just doesn't shut up. So maybe that's not that good
Yeah.
of an idea.
Yeah.
See,
It's-
and I was thinking you go with Iron Man because you get all the gadgets. Get a shit ton of gadgets.
Well, you know what? I'd say you go with Iron Man because he knows how to party.
Yeah, but how you're going to impress him? I mean, I'm not going to be impressing Tony Stark with my 2002 Saturn.
Well, chances are, we're not.
No,
gonna be
but
impressing-
I'm pretty
gonna have
sure
to go
we're
in a
driving in
Lamborghini.
Tony's Audi. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but even if we're not driving,
in the A8.
even if you're taking your own car, I don't think you're impressing a superhero much in any way. Any one of us, they're just gonna be
Yeah,
eyeing us up
probably
and down. They're gonna be eyeing us up and down. But like, look at you disgusting piece of
See,
fucking
no,
human
I
specimen.
see because I want to hear about that tech convention in Zurich in the early aughts. You know, that's
Is that what you want to hear? You want to hear Tony talk about that?
yeah. I want someone who has war stories. You know,
You
who
want to hear
has-
about
yeah.
all the babes and all the.
Not the- just
So
the-
you want the most interesting man in the world.
yeah.
you
yeah.
want Nick Fury.
And a case of Dos Equis.
You want Marvel Nick Fury
Yeah,
comics.
I want someone someone who's got some yarns to spin.
I hate
you know,
No, that's good stuff.
Ah,
I want the Garth Ennis,
yeah.
Dum
Nick
Dum
Fury.
Duggan.
Yes.
the Garth Ennis Nick Fury, right? That's who you want.
See, I would think Blue Beetle because
Yeah.
he's kind of the nerd of the Justice League, and also, I want to hear like how he probably resents Batman just a little bit
Just a,
because
You
know,
wouldn't want to take
I
Captain
just
Marvel?
see Ed sitting in a car with Beast, like debating each other for 20 fucking hours in a parking lot because they couldn't decide which directions to take.
arguing over over a chess game that neither one they have no
Yeah,
board
no,
pieces.
it
Why
would-
wouldn't you take Shazam? Because Shazam is two people.
Yeah.
well,
So
but
you'd
you'd only
be
have
talking to Bobby, and then 1 minute, and the next you talk to
yeah,
Captain
well,
Marvel.
well, you'd only get one at a time.
Right, that's a good thing. No cross arguments,
Yeah.
no cross
yeah,
chatter.
yeah. And they're both kind of childlike, so it's one half dozen of another.
Yeah,
You just have to play a lot of Kids Bop. That's all.
it's all it's all Hanson.
Little Billy Batson's got a real thing for Hanson and Kids Bop. He wants to hear Rage Against the Machine sung by 9-year-olds. That's what he wants to hear. All right, so I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for who you take then, because I feel like Superman's a good bet, but you
Yeah.
got. I feel like he
Flash would be impatient with the whole ride.
Yeah.
Although
Just arms folded, tapping his foot like,
James is
oh, I could have been there by now.
James is
I could have been there
killing
20
it.
times by now.
James is killing the chat. He's pointing out with the Flash you can grab snacks and food without having to stop.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Just zip in there and catch up with
And
it.
he'd probably be pretty willing because he'd be so impatient. He'd be like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Yeah, fine, I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it. I'll do it. 75 Happy Meals. Because he's got to load up on the carbs. All right.
But then you really would need that catheter, the soda bottle.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that kind of rounds out the emails, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see any more in here. No, I do not. So thanks to everybody who sent one in, which is really only a couple of people, but Agent Palmer, our buddy James, and who was the other one?
Steph.
Stephanie! How could I forget Sammy?
Sammy!
So sorry, Sammy. Would never forget you, Sammy. Yeah, so that's it. Show's over. We're going to go home.
Thank you, everybody.
No.
No.
Stop it, Ed. But we are winding it up. It has been a good one. It's been a fun one.
Another one without Dom.
Another one without Dom.
Our
He's in
thoughts and
school, man.
prayers.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to his and his. School.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Just PhDs.
Yeah,
tough thing to
kinda.
get.
There was a lot of pot involved, a lot of hanging out,
Oh.
not much classwork done.
We have
during it.
very
Yeah,
different.
You too, Ed, right?
We have very different college experiences.
Well, you have a college experience. I remember.
Yes.
I went.
Ed, you and I very much have different college experiences.
Right, of the two real college experiences in the room, the two of you have a disparity.
Hey,
of
I went.
sorts. That's true. You did.
I went on my computer.
Well, I wasn't even.
No,
I wasn't even counting
Palmer,
that. I was-
did you dorm?
Yes.
Okay.
All 4 years.
Okay, I dormed the first year and transferred and commuted.
You bounced around too, didn't you, Palmer?
Nope.
You went to one school. I thought you transferred out.
Nope. I transferred out of high school, but that's a whole different story.
That's a whole different story. Where can people find that story?
All those records are sealed.
I'm pretty sure they can find that story on the Stranger Conversations.
Episode. What was your episode? 10? 11?
Oh shit! I don't remember. I just
don't
know
know.
that
Yeah,
the
you
only
can find
argument you and I will ever have is whose episode is worse, and I believe it's mine, and you believe it's yours.
There you go. That's pretty much how that goes. That's the truth. But that just means that they're probably just too revealing. we just don't like them because we get to hear ourselves talk about stuff we don't like to talk about. Oh, God bless that show. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to wrap it up. We are going to phase it out. We're going to stay on for a little bit while longer to go a little after show for people who are in the chat room. We're going to hang out. This is going to end the episode that goes out over iTunes and other services. Ed, you had something you wanted to say right there, buddy?
I love you very much.
That's fucking bullshit and creepy.
I see a little brown right here.
A little bit.
I didn't have anything to say, but
Okay.
I didn't want to disappoint you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Like
you.
like I said, a little brown right
A little
there.
brown. Well, even that, right? I didn't want to let you down, boss. I don't want to disappoint you.
I know where my bread is buttered.
On the top?
Yes.
Good. That's where you're supposed to do it. Just saying. You don't do it all around the edge. That doesn't even make any sense.
As much as I want to.
If anybody doesn't know where their bread is buttered, they're a fucking moron. Right? I just want to put that out there. Okay. All right, Bob, you ready for this? We're gonna wrap it up.
I'm ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on the web. Ed,
I'm on Twitter at Edward O'Hare TBD.
Bob at WTPC.
Palmer,
At Agent Palmer.
and agentpalmer.com. You can find his blog there. You can find our show on at wickedtheory.com. You can find us on all kinds of podcast services. Check us out. I found out we're on Overcast, or another one. I don't know. They just pull it and they just post it.
Oh, okay. They're stealing it from other sites and using it?
Well, basically, they just kind of pull the feed from iTunes. We get the little, download numbers and all that stuff. But Chad Rose uses it all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it. Bob, take us out of here.
Yeah.
All right. So that ends another show.